That's now he turned the air conditioner on in here.
Get chilly, mate.
It did.
I actually feel it. You're not making that up. I feel it.
You know, there have been times that they've turned up the heat.
St. John's been turning up the heat, that's for sure.
Davon Smith with the free throw line.
You gonna get your little sweater here, mate? You gonna make it, buddy?
The first free throw was no good.
All right.
Mitchell shorts.
Get you some slippers, get you nice and comfortable. I actually really do feel it, too. It's funny you say that. It's got to be a bed right over us.
77-60. Here's the second free throw by Stevie Mitchell. And that is good. 77-61, 135 to play. Mitchell comes to the sideline. Lowry is back in. But this has been Zuby Ejiofor with 31 points. Rolling into the front court, R.J. Lewis. Circles from left to right. Right side quarter court. And another outstanding second half for St. John's. And we have Ejiofor going at it with Hamilton.
Yeah, I'm sorry, mate. Yep, Hamilton for sure. As Zuby tries to punctuate what's been a world-class effort so far tonight.
And Ejiofor with the rebound as he goes to the free throw line where he's 9 of 10.
Yeah.
A rebound shy of another double-double as he sinks the free throw.
Oh, man.
32 points.
What balance, too.
Ejiofor.
Yep, RJ's got 13 points and 6 rebounds. Kadori's got a double-double with 12 points, 10 rebounds. Aaron Scott again, 11 points, 3 rebounds, great defense.
And you're seeing why Zuby is a first-teamer.
Yep. And the most improved.
As he sinks the second free throw.
Good stuff right there, young man.
79-61. Here's Marquette on the drive, laying it up and good. He's Trey Norman. 79-63 as we approach 1 minute to play.
I'll tell you, talk about seeds here. I mean, you're up by 16 points. It's one thing to win. It's nothing to blow out a pretty good team. The committee's going to look at this win pretty favorably here.
Here's Scott. Dumps it baseline. No Smith. Short for 3. Rebound Scott. St. John's continues the battle. Down the middle. Wilson puts it up no good. Rebound comes down to Lowry.
A lot of bodies hitting the deck now. It's the last thing we need.
Left side quarter court. In the middle. Euro steps. Putting it up no good. And a rebound into the hands of Lewis.
Yeah.
Here comes Davon slowly into the front court right now. And now the St. John's faithful, they are standing with 20 seconds to play, and the celebration begins. This is Wilter, topside to Ejiofor, acceleration, and the ball winds up and goes out of bounds.
What an ovation here for Zuby. Check this out. Gets a hug and a dap from Coach Patino.
Walter Berry back in 1986. First St. John's player with 30 points plus and 9 plus rebounds in a tournament game. Has a shot desperation, a 3-ball from the near side misses, and this is a victory for St. John's. The Red Storm advance to the Big East Championship game for the first time in 25 years as they down Marquette 79-63. A big-time night for Zuby Ejiofor with 33 points.
He was absolutely amazing. He was sublime. It is the way it's supposed to be. St. John's been the best team of the conference all season long. Everybody else was kind of feeling the
time in the same game is critical. Now with Aiden giving us, that guard that we've been, hoping for the whole year. And finally, if UConn's going to get back to that tourney final, how are you going to do it?
It's not just one thing. It's 3-point line defense. It's ball screen defense. It's containing those three guys. It's dominating them on the backboard. It's playing well versus the drop coverage. There's a lot.
All right, let's go get it done. Thanks, Coach.
Let's go, Mike.
It's Dan Hurley. We'll be back. Starting lineups, opening tip coming up from the world's most famous arena on Learfield.
Hi, this is Nick Kaplanson from Dime Bank. To win a championship, it takes more than just good players and coaches. It takes a whole community dedicated to the same goal. The same is true when it comes to banking. A successful banking relationship is built from a community fully dedicated to meeting the banking needs of its customers. If you're ready to experience a better approach to banking, come join our community at Dime. It's your bank, your choice, your Dime.
Dime Bank. Community banking lives here. Member FDIC.
College sports fans now have access to hundreds of weekly podcasts that zero in on the college sports world. Now available in the Varsity Podcast Network and part of the new Varsity app. The app is free and available from wherever you get your favorite apps. Download the Varsity app today to have access to hundreds of national podcasts as well as your favorite team-focused podcasts. The Varsity Podcast Network now available for free on the Varsity app. Download from the App Store and listen today.
Connecticut is Husky Nation. This is the UConn Sports Network from Learfield.
I put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time-to-talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Home of the six-time national champions. This is UConn Huskies men's basketball.
Sampson with a dribble handoff to DR, and they're going to pick and roll to Sampson. Oh, right-hand crusher.
Play-by-play coverage of today's game is presented all season long by Key Bank, the exclusive retail bank of UConn men's basketball. Today's game is also sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss, your long-term solution for weight loss. Brown, Painderis, and Scott. With BPS Lawyers, you get more than a lawyer. You get a full-service law firm. Connecticut Business Systems, a Xerox company. Beyond the expected. The Connecticut Lottery. Visit ctlottery.org. Dean Cabinetry in Bolton. Beautiful kitchens for any budget. Dime Bank. Community banking lives here. Last Fly Airport Parking. We've got lots to offer. Lippincott Van Lines. The definition of moving excellence. Key Hyundai. Genesis of Milford and Middletown Chevrolet. Home of the 1 million mile powertrain warranty. Cloder Farms in Ellington. Best sheds at the best prices. American-made custom furniture. We're worth the ride. Orthopedic Associates of Hartford. Make your move. Connect with the top orthopedic specialists at OAHCT.com. Sullivan Automotive Group, where Liam McNeely shops. Drive like a champion with Sullivan Automotive. Trantolo and Trantolo, Connecticut's personal injury law firm. UConn Health, the official healthcare provider of UConn Athletics. Make their doctors your doctors. And by WFSB, trust Connecticut's largest, most experienced team of meteorologists. The first alert weather team, only on Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Ball steps into a three. Bang! He hit it. Silky smooth solo for three.
We're minutes away from tip-off. Let's go to our broadcast location. Alongside Wayne Norman, here's Mike Crispino.
Welcome to the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden, here in New York City. The second semifinal of the Big East Tournament 2025. About 15 minutes away as UConn will take on Creighton for a third time in the season. Both teams have won one each in the series. We'll be back with more. Let's pause 10 seconds for station ID. You're listening to UConn Men's Basketball on Learfield, presented by Brown, Penderis, and Scott. Back in New York, we're getting set for UConn and Creighton in the semifinal, the second of the night. The first one, which began at 6:30 tonight, was it featured the regular season champs, St. John's, and Marquette, the number 1 seed against the number 5 seed, the Red Storm against the Golden Eagles, and St. John's with a big second half has gotten to the championship game as they outscored Marquette's Golden Eagles 44-26 in the second half en route to a 79-63 victory. And they had Zuby Ejiofor with a career-high 33 points in that game and 9 rebounds as well in 38 minutes. So the Red Storm storming the Golden Eagles for the third time this season. And Wayne, it's tough to do. Beat a team 3 times, and they just did it. St. John's, a close game. They won in Milwaukee recently on a last-second shot. But this one, St. John's was able to pull away and win big.
As Marquette has had issues all year defending big guys in the paint, and Ejiofor's career high had been 28 against Kansas State, dropped in 33 today, and he just got inside a lot. And it wasn't just his 11-15 shooting, he was also 11 of 12 from the line. He drew a lot of fouls in that game. He was one of 4 St. John's players in double figures, but the Johnnies fell behind 24-9 early and eventually clawed their way back into it. Marquette had a 2-point lead at halftime. They had 17 turnovers, did the Golden Eagles, as Cam Jones was their main man, one of 2 players in double figures. He had 24 points, 15 coming in the first half, 10 of 22 overall from the floor for Marquette. Marquette was pretty good from 3-point range early on. That's how they built that big lead. But in the second half, they were 1 for 12 outside the arc as they wound up going 6 for 29 from 3. So when the 3 stopped dropping, that's when St. John's able to make their move and finish off Marquette. Last night, UConn advanced to this game with Creighton knocking off Villanova in a game that they trailed early in the contest and down by 5 at halftime. But it really looked to me as if it was Villanova's legs that gave out in the second half. If they played the night before, UConn didn't. UConn outscored them in the second half, 42-20. And Villanova's shooting for the game was 32%. That is a Big East low by a UConn opponent. Meanwhile, the Huskies shot 58% overall from the floor in that game. And they had a great game from Alex Caravan. He had a team-high 18 points, a team-high 9 rebounds, a team-high 6 assists. He also blocked a shot for UConn. And Liam McNeely added 12 points, 7 rebounds. He did turn it over 3 times in his 32 minutes on the floor. But Liam McNeely will be a focus in this contest tonight because he didn't play the first time UConn and Creighton met at Gamble. And then when UConn went out to Omaha, where they'd never beaten Creighton, he went off for 38 points. He was 5 of 10 from 3-point range. So we'll see if he can do the same kind of effort tonight when Liam McNeely and the Huskies take on Creighton. Last night here at the Garden, I got a chance to sit down in the UConn locker room with the UConn Husky, who is the Big East Freshman of the Year.
Liam McNeely, big second-half comeback by the Huskies, and talking about how tough it was to defend guys like Poplar in the first half. What changed in the second half?
I mean, Haas told us that he got him, and I mean, he did. He held him. Poplar was at 23 points for a really long time in the second
13-31. He got his last field goal on a fast break dunk. Right. And after that, just the game changed.
That's pretty good defense by Haas. He told us he got him, and he did.
And we got to talk, too, about the overall team defense on Dixon. And it looked to me like part of the game plan was change up, switch up, put different guys on him the whole time. You were on him for a while, too.
I mean, yeah, we played him pretty good all 3 times, all 3 games. The main problem we were having with him is he was getting to the free throw line a lot. But, I mean, he only finished with 8 points today. He was like 2 for 15 from the field, so did a pretty good job.
Must have done something well, yeah. And then Alex, in the second half, just became the team leader, was able to make some big shots. Talk about the play of the captain.
mean, that's classic Carabin right there. He's been in this position before, and I think we're all just following his lead, or trying to.
Liam, they seem to have a pretty strong perimeter pressure on the defense, which occasionally open the lane. Is that what allowed guys like you to drive the lane and get layups? You were back to your old self again tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we were just getting blow-bys, a lot of paint touches. A lot of the times they didn't have a rim protector in the paint. So, I mean, we could finish at the rim or get fouled, and that's what we did in the second half.
So you got another match against Creighton. You beat them there. When you dropped 38 points on them, you lost at home. What are your thoughts on Creighton and what UConn's got to do in the semifinal game on Friday night?
And we just got to trust the scout, trust the game plan. I mean, we all think we're gonna win, and I don't think there's any doubt in anybody's mind that we're not going to.
And that was Wayne Norman with Liam McNeely after last night's victory for UConn. That sets up a date with the Creighton Bluejays in our second semifinal of the day as St. John's defeats Marquette 79-63. So the winner of our game will face St. John's for the Big East Tournament title tomorrow. Paul Roper with you in the Learfield Network studios. We're projecting around a 9:30 tip. There's about 13 minutes left on the scoreboard clock. They're going to do God Bless America. They'll have to introduce the starting lineup. So I would think 9:30 is probably the safest bet, but good news, we actually do have some action for you. We've told you about the UConn men's ice hockey team currently in the Hockey East quarterfinal. They have a 2-1 lead midway through the third period, and we will get you coverage of that after this timeout as we get ready for the Huskies and the Blue Jays from Madison Square Garden, presented by Brown Pandeiros and Scott. This is UConn men's basketball from Learfield.
UConn fans, when it comes to sports injuries, do you know where the Huskies go?
UConn Health, Connecticut's public academic medical center. Our doctors advance research and train future generations of healthcare experts.
All while offering the latest in injury prevention, treatment, and performance improvement for athletes, for everyone.
When it comes to UConn athletics, our physicians are their physicians and should be your physicians too.
Make their doctors your doctors.
UConn Health. Learn more at health.uconn.edu.
Husky fans, you know what it takes to win, and so do we. Channel 3 Eyewitness News has the drive and dedication to get you morning ready. Breaking news, we're in it to win it with your reporters live in your town all morning long.
Your reporter in West Hartford, your reporter in stores.
And when you need to make a fast break out the door, we deliver first alert weather and traffic every 10 minutes so you never have to wait. The Huskies in Channel 3 Eyewitness News this morning. 2 MVP lineups, always there for you.
Paul Roper with you in the Learfield Network studios as we are waiting the start of our game between UConn and Creighton. Again, we're projecting around a 9:30 tip time. We do bring you bonus coverage of the UConn men's ice hockey team in the Hockey East quarterfinals against Providence. Currently a 2-1 lead for the Huskies midway through the third period. And here with Adam Giordino is Bob Joyce.
Now a mid-ice collision as Heaslip and Gamache get tied up right at the Providence line. Here's Percival in the middle for Heaslip. Bales rides him to the half boards on the near side. Percival spins off a check, trickles towards goal. And Svedback covers up as Austin May with a little extra shove on Percival. Percival eluded the netminder.
Yes.
There must have been some extracurricular activity on the half boards.
I think there was a little bump, but it was Svedback who was way outside the crease.
Oh, I see why he got bumped, because Percival took a little slap at it.
Yeah.
Just as the netminder was covering it up.
Yeah, and Svedback was way outside the crease to cover it up. I think everyone did their job appropriately.
Yep. They just said, all right, guys, get to the bench. 13 seconds left on the 4-on-4. Tattle with Muldowney up front. Spets and Viking Gustafson Nyberg on the blue line for UConn. Face off to the right of Svedback. Won by the Friars. Kelly to Sawyer. Half boards far side. Muldowney's stick is held, but the Huskies get it to center anyway. Spets put it out the center. We're back to 5 aside as Mustard joins the fray. Errant pass, he'll chase it. Slap cleared away from Tattle out the center. Glove down by Spets. Over here to Jake Richard. He'll slingshot it around the boards to Tattle. At the right point, in the middle for Richard. Bounces puck. Knocked away. Bouncing puck still in the PC zone. Richard and Tattle play it deep. Kelly, forecheck by Muldowney. Now on the near side wall, Friars able to Carried out, no. Stolen by Tattle. Towards goal. Svedback a stick save. Logan Will comes out of the pack for the Friars. Blue line to blue line. Oh, trying to get Sawyer on a breakout. Huskies broke it up at the blue line. Kai Janvaria skates out of his own zone for the Huskies. And the home whites picked off at the blue line by Machu. Now Gardula gloves it down and plays it to Svedback. With 8:10 to go here in the third. 2-1 UConn. An early third period goal by Joey Muldowney, the difference. Here's Harding to Machu. Back to Harding in the neutral zone. Up the left side, he'll play it around the boards. Whitcomb plays it to Messinio. Now it's turnover behind the net. Bouncing puck, loose puck in. This great stop by Muslik on Poison, and a bouncing puck, and he stuck out the left pad, and a chance of Moose. Ring inside Toscano, icing on the Huskies, but what a goal, what a stop by Ty Muslik on a bouncing puck in front. Poison got clear wood on it, and a great pad save by the UConn netminder, Ty Muslik, Adam.
He blindly slapped out his left pad as that puck bounced out, and I think before he even was able to fully get his head turned around, the save had already been made by Muslik. Would have been a tough bounce for the Huskies, but it's a spectacular save.
And Poison got that closer to the post. It was 2-2. Off the face-off. Huskies try to play it out the center. Will Elger just gets raked to the boards. Dugout. Malinowski with a shot. Knuckleballer on net. Stopped by Muslik. Now the Friars get the forecheck game going as Messinio tries to clear. Can't. Second effort up into the crowd.
Tyler Muslik gave up a goal on the very first shot that he faced here tonight, Bob. He has stopped his last 27.
Well, playoff games, Adam, as we know, they're usually low-scoring one-goal games or an empty netter. Every game so far in the playoffs, one-goal games.
Hockey East, that's the way it's going to be.
Yoder and Fraser to the right of Muslik. 7:19 to go in the third. UConn 2-1. Capacity crowded. Toscano tonight. Trying to will UConn to the semifinals on Thursday in Boston. Face-off controlled by the Friars. Kelly to Guillaume Richard. Spins, plays it off the boards near side to Connolly. Gustafson Nyberg knocks him to the boards. Puck is loose. Heaslip backhands it up the boards and out the center ice. Guillaume Richard chasing it in his own zone with Percival putting on the heat. Puts on the brakes. Percival knocks the puck away. Kelly plays it up the boards for Connolly in front of the PC bench. Pass behind Yoder. Heaslip after it. Plays it up in the air off a deflection. Glove down by Yoder. Fraser can't control it. Connolly does. Gets it to Poison. He's got Yoder on the near side, but Spetz just gets enough of it to get it away from Poison. Now a scrum ensues. Yoder tries to play it out in the middle, but he slipped there. And the Huskies get it out the center. Play it to open ice. Richard off the bench. He'll play it in deep, but right on the stick of Machu. Tense time here at Toscano. Deflected in by Logan Will. Behind the UConn net. Janvaria stolen centering pass. Behind the Friar forward. That was Adams. Now Adams chases in the near corner to our right. Scott up with it. Spins off a check. Gets it up the board. Sawyer to keep in. Digging it with Jake Richard. Jake Richard with calmness gets it to Trey Scott. Up the boards and out the center. Glove down at the Providence line by Machu. Back pass to Harding. Muldowney on the forecheck with Tattle. Harding puts on the brakes. Gives it to Machu behind the net. Far side Malinowski. Plays it blue line to blue line. Deflected in. Messinio after it. Both teams will change. Messinio right in front of the UConn bench. Double deflection? No. Icing on UConn. With 5:30 to go. Face-offs, 30-28 Friars, 9-5 here in the third, Adam.
This is it's starting to get to the territory where UConn you want to score, but you've also realized if you hang on for another couple of minutes, Providence is going to be forced to pull its goalie. So play a couple more good minutes of defense and maybe pot an empty netter.
Interested to see when Providence pulls Svedback.
Yeah. Totally.
Malinowski and Saddle on the face-off. It's an unfair draw, so we'll do it again. To the right of Tyler Mueslick. Hudson Malinowski, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. He had the hat trick February 1st in Hartford. That 6-3 win. He wins the face-off. Joey Muldowney, though, lays out, plays it out to the Providence line where Bale's back to get it. Malinowski winding up. Double team. Poke checked away. Friars play it in. Karabin after it. Malinowski on the forecheck. Karabin just calmly plays it behind the net to Messinio. Up the boards to Caden Shahan. Shahan up the left side. Will play it in deep. Gardula after it against Guillaume Richard. Gets it to Whitcomb. Whitcomb to Shahan, but it's picked off by Kelly. And here come the Friars. Graham Gamache crosses center. Hits the UConn line. Runs into Gustafson-Nyberg. Spetz swings it far side to Shahan. Pinned along the boards by Yoder. Puck comes loose. Huskies control. Gustafson-Nyberg just saucers it out the center. Down the ice. Kelly gives chase. Plays it to Gamache up the wall near side. Now Yoder avoids a check from Gustafson-Nyberg, but Percival poke checks the puck away, and then Gustafson-Nyberg settles it down in his own end. Rink-wide feed. Nice hand-eye coordination by Spetz. Chips it out the center. Down the ice. Icing on UConn? No, they wave it off. Heaslip on the forecheck. Trying to get it to Tristan Frazier. Does so. Machu all over his back. They pin it on the boards. Far corner. Heaslip. Frazier gets it to Percival. Turns. Wrister deflected just wide. Yoder up with it for Providence. Gets it to Machu, and here come the Friars. This is John Mustard up the left side. Gets around Scott. He's got a man in the middle. Towards goal. Deflected in on net. And Mueslick the save.
All right, so it's still 2-1 UConn over Providence in the waning moments of that one of the third period in the Hockey East quarterfinal. We're waiting the Big East semifinal between Creighton and UConn. We'll send it back to MSG where Mike Raspino has tonight's starting lineups. Mike?
All right, thank you, Paul. Our starting lineups brought to you by Dean Cabinetry in Bolton. Beautiful kitchens for any budget. The starting lineups for Creighton, a 2-seed, a record of 23-9. Coming in, Stephen Ashworth will be at one guard. Ashworth averaging 16.5 points a game, 4 rebounds, and 7 assists. At the other guard, it'll be Jemiah Neal for the Blue Jays. He averages 11 points, 6 rebounds, and 4.5 assists. And Neal had a tremendous game against the Huskies first time around, 24 points, played all 40 minutes in their 68-63 win at Gamble Pavilion. Jason Green is one of the forwards. He averages 4 points a game, 3 rebounds a game. Jackson McAndrew, outstanding young player for Greg McDermott, will be at the other forward. He's a freshman forward from Minnesota, and he averages 7.5 points a game, 4.5 rebounds. Ryan Kalkbrenner, the four-time defensive player of the year in the Big East, will be the center, 20 points a game, 9 rebounds a game. Also 1.6 assists. For UConn, coached by Dan Hurley, of course, Creighton coached by Greg McDermott. The Huskies will start solo ball at one guard, 14.7 a game. Hassan Diarra, 8 points a game, 6 assists. Alex Karabin, 14.5 points a game, 5.5 rebounds. Liam McNeely, 14.5 points and 6 rebounds. Samson Johnson will be one of the third forward at 7.5 points, 3.5 rebounds before the Huskies, coached by Dan Hurley. We'll be back. The opening tip in a few moments. You're listening to UConn men's basketball, the semifinals tonight. The winner here will play St. John's for the Big East Championship tomorrow night at Madison Square Garden. You're listening to UConn men's basketball on Learfield, presented by Brown Paint, Harris and Scott.
At KeyBank, we know a small moment like, whoa, my kid's got a serious backhand, can lead to an even bigger question like, tennis camp is how much? And that's the type of moment where we'll meet you to help you build a savings plan for expenses big and small so your money can make money. Mike, how's that sound?
Sounds like match point.
Sounds like love.
We could serve up tennis puns all day.
For every financial need, we'll meet you in the moment. KeyBank opens doors. KeyBank member FDIC.
Connecticut Business Systems, a Xerox company, is a proud sponsor of the UConn Huskies. We're Connecticut's largest provider of leading Xerox office technology, workflow automation, managed print services, software solutions, and audio-visual technology. We operate locally to offer you superior service and support, combined with the most advanced technology available in the industry. Our sales professionals make it their business to understand yours. So please contact us today for a free office technology assessment. Visit us at cds-gisx.com or call toll-free at 1-800-842-0009.
Are you traveling out of Bradley Airport and need a safe, reliable place to park your car? Trust your vehicle to Last Fly Off-Airport Parking, located on Route 75 in Windsor Locks. They have both valet and self-park options to fit any budget. Last Fly is open 24 hours a day and will get you to the airport on time every time. Join their loyalty program to earn points for free parking, and be sure to ask about their corporate discounts. Save 20% by pre-booking online at lazfly.com. Last Fly is the official parking company and a proud supporter of UConn Athletics.
Which schools will take home the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup as the top college athletic programs for the 2024-25 college athletics season? You can follow the standings of your favorite team or alma mater at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. Trophies will be awarded in June 2025 to the winning institutions in all college sports divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
The UConn Huskies are on the air. You're listening to UConn Men's Basketball, presented by Key Bank. Now, back to our broadcast location.
UConn and Creighton just a couple minutes away from this Big East Tournament Semifinal. The winner takes on top seed St. John's tomorrow night. Creighton lost two starters from last year's 25-10 team, but got to the Sweet 16, and they lost starting guard Pop Isaacs, a transfer from Texas Tech, to a season-ending hip injury in December in their win over Kansas after he scored 27 points. Just think how good they'd be if they still had him. But the Blue Jays return, fifth-year senior Ryan Kalkbrenner at 7-1. He's a four-time Big East Defensive Player of the Year. He leads them in scoring, rebounding, and blocks. Fifth-year point guard Stephen Ashworth lit up UConn from three last year, but he shot 2 for 15 from the floor in last night's double overtime win over DePaul. Creighton also lost two other guards early in the season, so they're not deep. They don't get much off the bench. They are number 2 in the Big East in field goal defense, thanks in part to Kalkbrenner's 85 blocks, fourth most in the nation. They take a lot of threes. They don't go to the line much. They're a great defensive rebounding team, second best in the nation, but a poor offensive rebounding team. Creighton was picked second in the Big East in the preseason poll behind UConn. Keys for UConn tonight. Number 1, rebounding. UConn's been terrific on the boards in the last 11 games, plus 10 per game. But offensive rebounds may be hard to get tonight for the Huskies. Number 2, the battle of the bigs. Kalkbrenner is a unique big man. He'll step out and make threes, but he's a legitimate threat underneath, and he now can score over either shoulder. Can UConn's bigs keep him in check? He had 32 points, 9 rebounds last night, and has averaged 23 points a game in the last 4. And key number 3, make open three-pointers. Get open looks for Ball, Caravan, and McNeely, who had a career-high 38 points at Creighton last month when UConn won in Omaha for the first time. He was 5 of 10 from three-point range. Our keys to the game are sponsored by the Sullivan Automotive Group, where Liam McNeely shops. Drive like a champion with Sullivan Automotive.
All right, thank you, Wayne. The UConn starting lineup being introduced right now. You mentioned the rebounding, and UConn has really turned that category around. These last 11 games, out-rebounding people by 10 a game, as you mentioned. They're number 1 in the country in block shots, the Huskies, 6.5. One of the things that happened last night was UConn defensively really shut the door on Villanova, and the Huskies have been improving. It's been a sore spot for them all year, defending field goals, and especially the three-point field goal. But they're improving in that category as well here as we get into March, and that could be a real key component for them, not only tonight, but if they can get by tonight, tomorrow night, and in the NCAA Tournament next week.
Well, you mentioned UConn lead the nation in blocks, even though they only had 3 blocks in last night's game. They've been averaging 6.4 a game now, just ahead of Auburn. But part of that was because Villanova didn't really challenge inside much. They settled more for three-point shots. They're just 7 of 21 from 3. As a matter of fact, they're 10 points in the paint against UConn last night, was a season low against the Huskies. So can the UConn offense, has been red hot of late, continue to shoot well? 52% or more in 4 of the last 5 games, and overall in those last 5 games they've shot 51% for the floor. And they've been getting lit up from three-point range by the opponents a few games ago, but that's shored up. Their three-point defense has been very good of late. Villanova struggled from three-point range, as I said last night, including Eric Dixon, who shot 1 of 7 from 3, and the nation's leading scorer shot just 2 for 15. He was taken out of the equation, and UConn able to have the big second half against Villanova last night.
You mentioned their bench, Wayne. Huskies have Terrace Reed coming off the bench all year long. 7 times he's had a double-double, and that's number 1 in the United States. Nobody's done that. So Reed could be a factor tonight with Kalkbrenner being such a menace inside in the paint defensively, and obviously drawing fouls and doing what he does. So I think Terrace Reed off the bench could be very, very important to UConn tonight.
He had that big game at Providence 4 games ago. He had 24 points, 18 rebounds, and 6 blocked shots. But after scoring 24 points at Providence, he's only scored 17 points the 3 games since. And after the 18 rebound game, he's had a total of 18 rebounds in the 3 games since. Part of that is because of the improved play of Samson Johnson. He's been double figures in 3 straight games for the first time in his career. The more he stays on the court, the more he produces. That means less time for Terrace Reed. Well, good news for the UConn hockey fans. They defeated Providence in that quarterfinal matchup today in Stores in the Hockey East Tournament.
Hey, congratulations to Mike Cavanaugh and the Huskies. They're playing Boston in the semifinals. The officials tonight in the nightcap of the doubleheader, Brian O'Connell, veteran, John Gaffney, and Lamar Simpson, all very familiar characters to UConn coaches and fans as UConn takes on Creighton here tonight with a chance to play for the championship in their conference and a chance to defend the championship that the Huskies won last year, their 8th Big East Tournament championship. That's tied with Georgetown for most by a Big East team.
The Big East has a cadre of officials that do a lot of the regular season games, and they bring them down here and they rotate them through. Well, the way it's turned out is that John Gaffney did last night's UConn game against Villanova, and as Mike said, he's doing this game as well.
The opening tip of the game, sponsored by Trantolo and Trantolo, Connecticut's personal injury law firm. We sit about 30 rows up. We're in the Lexus suite areas, just where sections 200 begins at Madison Square Garden. The 100's, of course, the lower bowl. UConn will wear the road almost black uniforms, really deep blue, trimmed in white and red, with Huskies across their chests and red trim down the sides of their jerseys and pants.
Former UConn President Harry Hartley called that national flag blue.
The higher-seeded Creighton Bluejays will be wearing their home white trimmed in blue as they get set to take on UConn. And they barely got here, Creighton. They had to go 2 overtimes and were behind in the first overtime, trailed big in regulation, and then hung on to win and put themselves in the semifinals here tonight.
They jumped on Ryan Kalkbrenner's back. 32 points, 9 rebounds, and some big, big plays at both ends of the court down the stretch.
Kalkbrenner had 32 points last night. Will jump against Samson Johnson. John Gaffney will throw it up there. Crowd filling in. A lot of St. John's fans have gone home after the team that won the Big East regular season championship routed Marquette to get to the championship game. And Kalkbrenner wins the tip. Creighton to move right to left. It's Ashworth guarded by Diarra on the left wing. He gives it up to Jemiah Neal. Low box. It's Kalkbrenner trying to back his way in on Samson Johnson. He fires to Neal for a 3, and he's able to hit a 3-ball on the first sequence of the ball game by the Blue Jays, and they have the lead, 3-0.
He had a career-high 24 points in the first time these teams played when they beat UConn at Gamble.
He only averages 11, but he had a huge night against UConn. Here's Samson Johnson, high post right, front court right, with the ball and a handoff to McNeely. McNeely with a floater, missed everything. Ball is loose, picked up by Diarra. Diarra in a corner for 3, and he made it. So Hassan ties it up with a triple. 3 apiece in the first minute. Ashworth walks across the timeline, hands over to Neal. McNeely will try to guard him. He stands out of the Big East Tournament logo. Center court. Neal with a right-hand dribble. Now he's got an isolated drive on McNeely, and he beats him to the basket and lays it in. A straight-line drive that time by Neal, and here we go. He really gave UConn trouble up in Stores with a career-high 24. Ball out front to Diarra. Up the high screen, gives it over to Johnson, who hands back the ball. Ball into the paint, kicks to Hassan for 3, and Haas hits another one. Back-to-back right in front of the Creighton bench, and UConn leads 6-5. He's got all of UConn's points.
2 for 2 from 3 after going 1 of his last 8 over 9 games.
All right, Ashworth, front court left. Fires on the left sideline to Neal. Gets a handoff back. Ashworth jabs one way. The ball comes loose. Neal picks up the loose ball. Foul line extended left. He attacks McNeely. Step back jumper. Good. And Neal has beaten UConn 3 times in a row for field goals. It's Neal's 7. Hassan Diarra 6 right now. Ball on the right sideline. Out front to Diarra. Front court right. Now back to Johnson. High post right. Hand off to Caravan. Caravan attacks Kalkbrenner. Missed the shot. Rebounded by Creighton's Jason Green. And here come the Blue Jays. Jemiah Neal, guarded by McNeely, being hounded and asked to give it up, and he does to Ashworth on the left sideline, gets it back. They isolate him. They spread out. Neal drives the basket, and he's fouled by McNeely. So UConn's going to have to figure something out here. Greg McDermott took a look at that tape in Gamble Pavilion in the wind and said, give it to him and let him do damage, and he's done that so far.
4 possessions by Creighton. Each of them has been Jemiah Neal making a move on Liam McNeely, either from the outside. He had a 3-pointer, and he also had about a 15-footer. He's also put the ball on the floor, and now he draws the first foul on McNeely.
And Neal makes the free throw. He's got all 8 points for his team. 17 and a half to go in the first half. He averaged 9 a game with Arizona State playing for Bobby Hurley last year and 8 rebounds. He's been a little bit better offensive player for Greg McDermott.
Not a great free throw shooter, 63%.
Well, he made them both. He's 100% there. 9-6. Creighton with the early lead. McNeely has it. Front court right on the left sideline, pardon me. Out to DR. Now it's Caravan. High post handoff. Samson Johnson back to McNeely. McNeely turns and fires a 3. It's no good off the left rim. And rebounded by Neal on a run out. The Blue Jays get a break and a dunk from Jason Green as Neal sped him up, and UConn trails 11-6. Diarra, front court right. Outside the 3-point arc. Out front it comes to Samson Johnson. Now back to Solo Ball. Ball top of the arc, out by Ashford. Should have the advantage there. Picks up his dribble, fires to Samson Johnson. Back to Caravan. Caravan to the paint. Over Kalkbrenner. It's short. Rebound, Kalkbrenner. And he'll get in the way, that's for sure. Front court, a 3. Missed. A long shot taken by Jackson McAndrew. Rebounded by the Huskies. Quickly to the front court, it's Diarra. Behind the screen of Samson Johnson. Pull up by Haas. No good. Rebound, Samson Johnson. Try to reverse it up, and he made it, and he's fouled. So Samson Johnson gets UConn within 3. Nice offensive piece of work on the glass. And that time, Kalkbrenner came out to defend Diarra, and that opened up space for Samson Johnson to go to their offensive boards.
And the foul is on Jackson McAndrew, who missed the 3 at the other end, but good job on the offensive glass by UConn, by Samson Johnson. The prior possession, McNeely, who'd been beaten 4 times in a row by Neal, missed a 3-pointer. Neal got the rebound, setting up that fast break to Green.
Samson Johnson misses the free throw off the front of the rim. 11-8, Creighton with the lead. McNeely comes out, and the Huskies go to Jalen Stewart. Here's Ashworth. Picks up his dribble, hands to Neal. On a switch, Diarra guards Neal. Neal backs away, heads to his right. Tries to blow by Diarra. Pull up 20-footer. No good. But it's rebound on the offensive glass by Jason Green. And Creighton leads by 5, 13-8. UConn didn't box him out. Ball had the assignment, and it didn't do it. Here's Solo, front court right. He gives to Sampson out front now. Diarra starts to his right, a screen by Caravan. Out front to Sampson. Out front, Caravan. Back to Diarra on the left wing. He attacks Ashworth in the paint. Nowhere to go. Has to give it back to Caravan. Now they're down to 4. Caravan drives to the basket, goes to the left hand, missed it. And a rebound, kicked around, ball comes up with it. Ashworth dives on it. And the possession arrow by UConn's. We go to the first timeout of the ball game with 15:18 remaining. Creighton leading 13-8. UConn basketball presented in part by Johnson Bernetti, the official wealth management provider or sponsor of the UConn Huskies. You're listening to UConn Men's Hoop on Learfield, presented by Brown, Payne, Darris, and Scott.
Husky fans, you know what it takes to win, and so do we. Channel 3 Eyewitness News has the drive and dedication to get you morning ready. Breaking news, we're in it to win it with your reporters live in your town all morning long.
Your reporter in West Hartford. Your reporter in stores.
And when you need to make a fast break out the door, we deliver first alert weather and traffic every 10 minutes so you never have to wait. The Huskies in Channel 3 Eyewitness News this morning. 2 MVP lineups always there for you.
Power Station Events is the official production partner of the UConn Huskies, the ultimate one-stop source featuring audio, video, lighting, staging, talented DJs and musicians, photography and videography, stunning decor and florals, and much more. As we celebrate our 40th anniversary, we want to thank UConn Nation as we look forward to the next 40 years. Visit us at powerstationevents.com and let us help you plan your next awesome event.
Aw, shucks, the game's on TV, but I can't listen to the call of my favorite team broadcasters.
Never fear, Sync My Game is here.
Sync My Game?
Yes, Sync My Game. If you have a DVR and streaming device, head to syncmygame.com from Learfield. It's never been easier to hear the impassioned voices of your favorite radio crew synced with the TV.
Wow, thank you, Mr.
Just remember, syncmygame.com.
The Huskies live here. You're listening to play-by-play coverage of UConn men's basketball, presented by KeyBank.
Madison Square Garden, where UConn trails Creighton 13-8, 15-18 to go in the first half. Hockey tonight at the Toscano Family Hockey Center up at Stores, and the Huskies beat Providence 3-1 in the quarterfinals of the Hockey East Tournament, and they'll wait till tomorrow, the results of games, and they'll reseed everybody, and they'll go to Boston and play in the semifinals. Huskies having maybe one of their best hockey seasons ever on the men's side.
For Creighton, Jemiah Neal made his first 3 shots of the game. It was 7-6 in favor of Creighton at that point, and he made 2 more free throws. He's got 9 of the 13 points. And the other 4 points they've scored are from starting forward Jason Green, who had gone 0 for 3 from the floor, all from three-point range in the last 2 games. But he's had a couple of layups in this game. And significantly, I think, Kalkbrenner hasn't taken a shot yet. He does have 1 rebound. Ashworth hasn't taken a shot yet after his 2 for 15 game yesterday. So 2 of their big guns have yet to get involved in the offense because Neal and Green have been so good. Creighton 5 for 7 from the floor. UConn just 3 of 9. And they've been out-rebounded by Creighton 5-4 early on. Significantly, though, McNeely with the 1 foul and the inability to guard Neal has gone to the bench, and Jalen Stewart. But as you pointed out, that when Stewart came in, they did not put him on Neal. They moved Hassan Diarra over to Jemiah Neal.
Richard Hamilton, a former great for the Huskies, in the house. St. John's players coming to watch this one, too, as the Huskies have it in the front court right. St. John's gets the winner of this game for the championship tomorrow. Here's Caravan. Back to Diarra on the left wing. He attacks inside. Tough shot by Haas. He tipped it in. Oh, man, what an offensive tip by Hassan Diarra. And offensively, what an impact he's had. 8 points of UConn's 10.
Is a third chance basket.
All right, Neal guarded by Caravan outside the arc. Front court left. Right-hand dribble. Crossover, blows by Caravan. Got a duck in the paint. Kick back Ashworth. Ashworth drives to the basket and stripped by Diarra and out of bounds. 8 seconds to shoot. And they'll inbound it. The Blue Jays will to our left, across from the UConn bench.
First real offensive move that he's made.
Ashworth kicks to Neal, guarded by Caravan in the near corner. Neal now gives it up to McAndrew. He tries to blow by Stewart. He banks it up and in. Nice shot by McAndrew, the freshman from Wayzata, Minnesota. 15-10 Creighton. Boy, they're playing a lot better offensively than they did yesterday.
And that ball went in right at the shot clock buzzer going off.
Out front, it's Samson Johnson. Terrace Reed getting set to check in. Here's Ball into the paint. Kicks in the far corner to DR for three. And Hassan's got another one. What a start by him. A triple. DR with 11 and UConn with 13. They trail by 2. Now Neal isolated with Caravan on the left wing. Starts to his right. Johnson comes out to guard him. Now he fires it right to Green on the right sideline. Green got it by Ball. Scoop past Kalkbrenner. Guarded by Johnson. Kalkbrenner puts it on the floor. He gives to Ashworth. Ashworth drives by Ball. Wild shot. No good. Rebound Solo. Little runner from 8 feet by Ashworth. No good. Caravan front court left. Caravan off the screen of Johnson. Into the paint. Over Kalkbrenner. He made it. And we're tied at 15. So Caravan challenging Kalkbrenner, gets after it, and we're even.
That's what DePaul did early in the first half yesterday. Got the big lead by attacking the lane.
All right, here's Neal on the right wing. They double him for the moment. It's Caravan guarding him. Out front it comes to Ashworth. Between the rings, he fires in the back. Oh, on the backdoor cut, McAndrew. The shot blocked by Jalen Stewart, but a foul is called. And so that's going to put McAndrew on the line to shoot 2, I believe. UConn's got 3 subs waiting to come in, and Creighton's got a couple. Creighton's going to go to Frederick King and Fedor Zugic, who is a freshman guard from Montenegro.
He's been playing more lately. In fact, he had a season high 13 points in yesterday's double overtime win.
All right, McAndrew makes the first free throw, and Creighton regains the lead. 16-15. Terrace Reed Jr. is in. McNeely back in. And Aiden Mahaney will be in. And we'll get another free throw from McAndrew.
Member of the Big East All-Freshman team this year.
It's a nice honor for him, for sure. 6'10", 220. And misses the second one, but the Huskies can't get the rebound. McNeely and Reed went after it, and nobody got it. So Creighton gets another chance with a 16-15 lead 7 minutes in. Yeah, McNeely was out of his zone that time. It was Reed's rebound, and Liam bumped him, knocked it out of bounds. So Zugic looks to inbound to our left. And he, having trouble, does get it in to Green. Out front to Ashworth. Ashworth blows by McNeely. Step back 10-footer by Ashworth is good. Right now, McNeely is lost on defense. UConn trails 18-15. Here's Mahaney, front court right on the right sideline, directing traffic. And kicks it out front to McNeely. Starts left up a screen by Reed. Off the screen right, he keeps the ball, and he goes all the way to the basket, lays it in. Smart move that time by Liam. He kept his dribble, and he scored the deuce on the drive. 18-17 Creighton. Here's Ashworth, left sideline at the hash. Starts back to his right. Fires in the far corner. Zugic to the basket. Stripped by Mahaney. Nice play. Mahaney to the front court. Pulls up between the rings. Starts left with a left-hand dribble. Kicks it right to Jalen Stewart. Stewart out front, backs away, and gives it up to McNeely. McNeely starts to his left. Guarded by McAndrew. Screen by Reed is a good one. McNeely drives all the way to the basket, lays it up, and missed it. No contact, no call. And the rebound by the Blue Jays. Ahead to Zugic, and Zugic is fouled by Reed. And 2 free throws will be coming for Creighton here as we get the under 12-minute timeout. 18-17, Creighton with the lead. And 2 free throws coming for the Blue Jays. If you're looking for better banking, huddle up with Dime Bank. 14 convenient locations in Connecticut and Rhode Island. Dime Bank, community banking lives here. You're listening to UConn Men's Basketball on Learfield, presented by Brown Penderis and Scott.
UConn fans, when it comes to sports injuries, do you know where the Huskies go?
UConn Health, Connecticut's public academic medical center. Our doctors advance research and train future generations of healthcare experts.
All while offering the latest in injury prevention, treatment, and performance improvement for athletes, for everyone.
When it comes to UConn athletics, our physicians are their physicians and should be your physicians too.
Make their doctors your doctors.
UConn Health. Learn more at health.uconn.edu.
We're back in 60 seconds after this from your local station. This is the UConn Sports Network from Learfield.
Kids ask their parents a lot of questions.
Why can't people fly?
Gravity.
Is the moon really made of cheese?
Yep, cream cheese.
When can I move into a big kid's car seat?
For some questions, parents may not have the answer, but that's okay. They can't know everything, but knowing the right seat for their age and size will help protect them in a car crash. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Where do babies come from?
Good luck, Dad. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
UConn basketball presented in part by Orthopedic Associates of Hartford. Get back on the field or just back into life with confidence. Make your move at oahct.com. UConn down 1, 18-17 with free throws coming for the Blue Jays with 11:53 to go in the first.
Husky field goal defense last night against Villanova, 32%. Big East season low for UConn's defense. Tonight, Creighton is shooting 7 of 10 from the floor. Jemiah Neal scored their first 9 points of the game. Hasn't scored since that time, but Creighton not missing many shots. UConn, not bad, 7 of 15. That's 47%. But so far this first half, some of their best offense has been a missed shot. Creighton's out-rebounded UConn 7 of 6, but Huskies have 4 offensive rebounds. They've got 7 second-chance points. Creighton has 4 second-chance points. One of those was a Diarra basket on a third-chance opportunity. Huskies got 2 offensive rebounds on the sequence. As for Diarra, he's been on the bench for the last couple of minutes. He's 4 for 6 from the floor. He's taken 6 of UConn's 15 shots. He's 3 for 3 from three-point range after going 1 for 8 over the previous 9 games. The 3 three-pointers made already equal a season high. He also made 3 in the Maui game against Colorado. He had 4 for a career high. That came last year.
So UConn comes out of the timeout with Caravan, Reed, McNeely, Stewart, and Mahaney. And we'll get free throws from Zugic, I believe.
3 starters on the bench for UConn. Ball, Diarra, Johnson.
Hassan in double figures with 11 points already. That's a great start for him.
11 of UConn's 17.
Bronze medal winner Zugic was with Montenegro in the FIBA U20 European Championship in 2022. And he's been around. That one rolls over the front rim and goes in. I don't know, gravity took over somehow, and he made that free throw. 19-17. He's 6'6", 215. And he's been a good addition. The second one good. And a 3-point lead for Creighton, 20-17. They're shooting 70%, leading by 3. Here's McNeely, front court left, down to Caravan. High post give to Reed, who hands over to Mahaney. Mahaney to the basket, trying to scoop it up. Rebounded by Reed, and Reed is called for a foul, I think, by Brian O'Connell. As Ashworth flopped and was able to draw the foul. The one thing about college basketball that we see every day, and we do it all the time, guys are falling on the floor constantly. You do not see that in the NBA, so get ready. If you go from the college ranks to the pros, don't be falling on the ground.
Kalkbrenner altered that shot by Mahaney. That's 2 fouls on Reed.
All right, here are the Blue Jays. It's Zukic on the left wing to Ashworth. He pumps it down low to Kalkbrenner. He's guarded by Samson Johnson. Kalkbrenner drives a left shoulder in, spins, lays it up, no good. Rebound McNeely. Good D by Sam. McNeely front court right, pulls up, fires back to Caravan, gets it back on the right wing. McNeely drives right. He's got Ashworth on him. He trying to get a shot off. He kicks it in the four corner to Stewart. They get it down low to Samson Johnson, and they throw it away. As Johnson's hands just not good enough there. It was a good pass by Stewart. He's in and out of his hands and out of bounds.
But it was his hands good at the other end, though. He was able to block a layup attempt by Kalkbrenner. And Samson got no help defense on that. That was a one-on-one matchup on the left side of the lane.
Yeah, and he had a layup opportunity in the offensive end and couldn't catch the pass. So UConn a little sloppy here early, trailing 20-17. Ashworth, front court left on the right sideline. Bounce to Kalkbrenner out front, top of the key. Fires it right to Zukic. The roll man is Kalkbrenner. He faces up, right side. A nice play by Johnson, who tipped it loose. Zukic picks it up. He attacks Ball, and a difficult shot, and he made it. He spun inside, and he abused Ball. 22-17, a little six-footer by Zukic. Here's Ball, front court right, between the rings. Solo guarded there by Miller, who just came in. Gives it up to Mahaney on the left sideline. Mahaney spins to his right, between the rings. Looks to get it to Ball, and he does. Solo turns and fires a three. Good! From the right wing by Solo. UConn back within two, 22-20. Solo's first basket of the game. Here's Ashworth. Attacks left. Gives to Miller. Miller's three is good. In the near corner. And he was being guarded by Ball, but you got to contest better than that. 24-20. Creighton. They continue their torrid shooting. 9 of 13. This is Mahaney on the right wing. Out front to McNeely, who drives inside on Kalkbrenner. Put up a shot, missed it. Kalkbrenner might have got a piece. Ashworth on a run out. Pulls up at the top of the key. Guarded by Mahaney. They skip it across the court for a Trout three. It's no good. Rebounded by Ball. That was Isaac Trout, the sophomore forward. Creighton now 1 for 4. Here's Ball on the drive. Pull up. And he is fouled on a little mid-range jumper, and Ball will go to the line to shoot two. 24-20, Creighton with the lead.
Good aggressive move by Solo. I think Trout got him. No, Miller got him. Miller at the three a moment ago. It's all he does is shoot threes. Last 13 games, he's 2 for 12 on the floor. All three-point shots for the 6'9" junior guard.
Yeah, Mason Miller. They're going to be 2 free throws for Ball. First one is up and good. Solo averaging over 14 points a game. His last 2 games, he's 8 of 20, 4 of 13 from three-point range. But his previous 8 games, he had gone 28 of 64 from 3. That's almost 44%, which puts him up in the upper echelons in the country.
He's now made 18 straight free throws, and for the second game in a row, he has become UConn's leading scorer, passing McNeely and Caravan.
All right, so Ball. Huskies down 3, and he misses the free throw. Rebounded by Neal. What a good long rest on the bench. Jaden Ross is going to guard Neal now. Let's see how he can do. Neal across the timeline. He gives it up to Ashworth. He's guarded by Diarra. Ashworth starts back to his right up a high screen by Kalkbrenner. Ashworth launches a three. No good, back rim, and it goes in. Oh, it dropped dead on the back of the basket and went in the basket. 27-21. Ashworth, who was terrible last night, 2 for 12 from out there, makes one. 27-21, UConn trails. Here's Ball, front court right on a handoff to Ross. Ross circles to his right, outside the arc. Guarded by Trout. Gives to Caravan. Caravan back to Ross for 3. Ross knocks it down. Jaden Ross, a triple. UConn back within 3, 27-24. The Huskies got 5 of 6 from 3.
His first made field goal in 16 games from three-point range.
And here's Ashworth. He almost turned it over. Gets it to Neal. Neal isolated. Crossover, trying to beat Caravan. He drops backwards with it. Back behind the arc. And again, he keeps the dribble under 10. Neal wants to get a shot off. He's still dribbling. Now he just launches a three. No good, and he's fouled by Caravan. Wow. What kind of offense was that? I don't know. So it'll be Neal on the line. He has been a major thorn in UConn's side so far with 9 points. Now he gets 3 free throws with his team leading by 3.
9 points in just 8 minutes. First foul on Caravan, who's had another quiet first half. 15 of his 18 points last night against Villanova came in the second half. He's 1 for 4 from the floor, hasn't taken a 3 yet.
And Neal misses the first free throw. Gets another opportunity. UConn 1 of 3 from the line. Creighton 5 of 7. Neal's second one, no good, in and out. And the UConn band is getting into it. They are behind that basket. Not only are they great musicians, they're pretty good cheerleaders too down there. And Neal gets a third opportunity after going 0 for 2. This one is up, and that one's good. 28-24, 8 minutes to go in the first half. Creighton with the lead. DR to the front court, fires it on the right sideline of ball, out front to Ross. Now it's back to DR on the left sideline. Haas looking over the offense. Starts to his right with the dribble, gives to Caravan out front. Caravan spins to his right, attacks Kalkbrenner, drops it in and out. Rebounded by the Huskies. They give it to Ross. He drives inside, kicks outside of Caravan. Right wing to Ball, who drives to the basket and beats Kalkbrenner on a reverse layup. UConn within 2, 28-26. That was a great shot by Ball, right in the face of the 7-footer. Here's Neal, guarded by Ross. He attacks inside, he runs Ross over, and they call it a block. Boy, oh boy, a lot of contact there. Dan Hurley is ripping mad, but he's talking mostly to his team right now. As the Huskies go to the under 8-minute timeout. Wow, Neal just bulldozed Ross that time. The call went against the Huskies. 28-26 Creighton. 7:15 left. Key Hyundai in Milford and Manchester. Genesis of Milford and Middletown Chevrolet. They're the home of the 1 million mile powertrain warranty for all new car sales. Let's pause 10 seconds for station ID. You're listening to UConn men's basketball on Learfield by Brown Paint Harris and Scott.
Is your retirement game plan a well-executed play or a Hail Mary pass? Hi, I'm Jake Dozer, Certified Financial Planner. At Johnson Brunetti, we've helped over 5,000 families prepare for and live in retirement. And now we're proud to be the official wealth management sponsor of the UConn Huskies. Visit us at johnsonbrunetti.com and get free financial planning books and resources. Johnson Brunetti Retirement and Investment Specialists.
Johnson Brunetti is a marketing name for the businesses of JB Capital and JN Financial. Investment advisory services offered through JB Capital, LLC. Insurance products offered through JN Financial, LLC.
Planning a move? Let Lippincott Van Lines, the official mover of the UConn Huskies, take the worry and stress out of your relocation. Whether you're moving across the country, across the world, or just across the street, Lippincott Van Lines will handle your packing, moving, and storage needs with the care and quality they deserve. If the UConn Huskies football team can trust Lippincott to get their gear to the field on time, you can trust them to get your items where they need to be. Call Lippincott Van Lines today for a free estimate at 800-245-8563.
College sports fans now have access to hundreds of weekly podcasts that zero in on the college sports world. Now available in the Varsity Podcast Network and part of the new Varsity app. The app is free and available from wherever you get your favorite apps. Download the Varsity app today to have access to hundreds of national podcasts as well as your favorite team-focused podcasts. The Varsity Podcast Network now available for free on the Varsity app. Download from the App Store and listen today.
The UConn Huskies are on the air. You're listening to UConn Men's Basketball, presented by Key Bank. Now, back to our broadcast location.
Are you trying to lose weight and nothing works for the long term? Turn to the solution for weight loss, Awaken180weightloss.com. UConn trails by 2, 28-26, 7:15 to go here in the first half. Both teams shooting well. Both have 10 baskets. UConn's got 5 threes, while Creighton's got 6 free throws, 6 for 9, and that's the difference for them.
Yeah, the great three-point shooting is what's keeping UConn in at 5 of 6 outside the arc. Diarra, a big part of that, 3 for 3, is UConn shooting 48%, and Creighton down to 67%. They really got off to a great start, shooting 4 for 4, and then later on 7 of 10. March 14th, a big day in UConn men's basketball history. One of the all-time great games was played in Raleigh, North Carolina. Huskies led Bill Bradley and Princeton by 2 with the shot clock or the game clock ticking down, and Bradley in possession of the ball, and you knew Bradley would take a shot. Dom Perno stole the ball. 52-50 UConn win. Bradley led all scorers with 22. Toby Kimball led the Huskies, 16 points, 13 rebounds. Toby would later tell me that it was actually Dan Spider Hesford who would bring over what Toby called his tentacle-like arms. He's the guy that kind of first tied Bradley up, and then Perno took the ball. And the crazy thing about that great play-by-play call by George Ehrlich back in the day, calling UConn games, was that Perno just dribbled the clock out. If you had that same situation today, you'd probably have 15 free throws in those last 16 or so seconds of the game.
At least.
And the great call by Ehrlich winds up saying, and there's the gun. You could hear this gun go off in the background. That's how they ended games. That was the NCAA Tournament Sweet 16 in Raleigh. And then, of course, in the Elite Eight, UConn got it handed to them pretty badly by Duke.
Yeah, I think Duke scored 100 points, didn't it?
They did. And that was the next day. They didn't have a day in between.
All right, Kalkbrenner on the inbound gives it up to Jason Green, left sideline. They pump it down low to Kalkbrenner, and it's stolen by Diarra. Nice play.
Big play because Johnson had lost his balance.
Yeah, Diarra into the paint, drives it to the right on the baseline, doesn't take the shot, kicks it back out front to Ball instead. Ball starts to his left, guarded by Green. Hands it back to Hassan Diarra on the right sideline. Haas with a left-hand dribble. It's on the left wing to Samson Johnson. Johnson out front and a handoff to Caravan. Caravan to the paint. Scoops it up and in. What a shot over Kalkbrenner. Oh, that was a beauty by Caravan. UConn is even at 28 each. So tough to shoot over a 7-footer like that. Now Green on the left wing, front court left. They want to go down low to Kalkbrenner. They can't get it to him. Now they do. He's got Johnson on his hip. He digs the left shoulder in. He jabs with his left foot. The ball is tipped away, and they almost stole it from him. And he has it, and he gives it up in the left corner to the driving man for the Blue Jays. They're running out of time, and a block by Caravan at the buzzer on Trout's drive. UConn comes up with it. And here is Diarra, top of the three-point arc, guarded by Neal. Diarra holds with a left-hand dribble, and he gives to Caravan. Caravan now hands over to Johnson on the left wing. Almost lost it. It's back in Diarra's hands. 12 to shoot. Haas for 3, long one. In and out, and rebounded by Ty Davis, the freshman guard. Gives to Neal in the front court left. Neal on a handoff to Green, who spins outside on the right wing. Picked up by Jaden Ross. Tries to blow by Ross. Power move inside. Throws it up right-handed and in. What a shot by Jason Green from about 10 feet away. Little jump hook, and Creighton gets the lead back 30-28. 5:25 to go here in the first half. Diarra front court to our right between the rings. Gets a screen from Ball. Starts right. Now back left off a screen from Caravan. Keeps his dribble. He looks and gives it up to Johnson on the left wing, who hands back to Caravan. Long three by Alex, way short. Rebounded by Creighton as Trout came up with the loose ball, and he hands to Neal, who runs right to left. Neal guarded by Diarra. Tries to beat him off the crossover. Now he backs away. Fires in the back door. It's Green, and Green able to hit the shot as Ball got beat on the cut on the baseline, and Creighton's back up by 4, 32-28, and Green's got 8. He and Neal have 18 of the 32 for their team. 4.5 left in the first half. Ball out front to Ross. Ross holds and fires to Diarra on the left wing. Diarra working on Davis, the freshman. Puts up a little floater. No good. Rebounded by Davis. On a leak out, it's Neal. Neal picked up by Ball. Crossover. Spins. 360. Gives it up to Green. Green back to Neal. Far corner. 3, and he makes it right in front of the UConn bench. And he mugs it up to the UConn guys on the bench. That'll come back and haunt you. A timeout called by the Huskies.
7-0 run for Creighton after UConn had come back and tied the game on that Ball reverse layup.
And so Jemiah Neal hit the three right in front of the UConn bench, and I think that's becoming a thing now in college hoop as the timeout comes at 4 minutes and 3 seconds, but that's enough of that.
Green has been very big here in the last couple of minutes. He had back-to-back hoops, part of this current 7-0 run, and he got the assist in the right corner on that three by Neal. So Neal 4 for 5 from the floor. He scored their first 3 field goals of the game, and he's 2 for 2 from 3.
All right, when you're out of town, want to keep up with live college sports, download the free Varsity Network app, available for Apple and Android. Listen to college sports live with the free Varsity Network app. This is UConn Men's Hoop on Learfield, presented by Brown Paint, Darris and Scott.
Hi, this is Nick Kaplanson from Dime Bank. To win a championship, it takes more than just good players and coaches. It takes a whole community dedicated to the same goal. The same is true when it comes to banking. A successful banking relationship is built from a community fully dedicated to meeting the banking needs of its customers. If you're ready to experience a better approach to banking, come join our community at Dime. It's your bank, your choice, your Dime.
Dime Bank. Community banking lives here. Member FDIC.
We bleed blue. This is the UConn Sports Network from Learfield.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I lack a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
UConn basketball brought to you by the Connecticut Lottery. Play the limited edition UConn Championship Scratch ticket today. Overall odds, 1 in 3.54. Must be 18 or older. Problem gambling helpline is 888-789-7777. 7-0 burst by Creighton. They lead 35-28. 4:03 to go in the first half. The winner here gets St. John's tomorrow, 6:30, the tip at Madison Square Garden.
Three-point shooting kept UConn in it. They were down 5 early, came back, tied the game at 28, and they haven't scored since. They've missed their last 3 shots. 2 of them are three-pointers. And Creighton, after that tie game, has made its last 3, 2 by Green, and then Green had the assist on the three-pointer by Neal. Neal's got 13 points in 12 minutes in the first half. Kalkbrenner only 0 for 1 from the floor so far. And Ashworth is now on the bench. He's 2 for 3 with a kind of quiet 5. So it's the other guys, not the leading 2 players, Kalkbrenner and Ashworth for Creighton, that are getting the job done. They're up to 68% shooting in the first half. UConn's hanging around 44%, 11 of 25. And after hitting 5 of the first 6 threes in the game, they've now missed their last 2. So how long can this three-point drought last? Because right now, that's the only thing that's kept UConn hanging around.
Yeah, Ashworth, second team All Big East. Averages 17 a game, 7 assists, and of course is an excellent free throw shooter, so he's usually a major factor. Did not play well against DePaul last night, but Creighton was able to survive in double overtime. And Green, who you've been talking about, averaging 4.5 points a game, his best game of the year. He had 14 against Georgetown earlier in the season.
And again, he's only had 1 point in the last 2 games. He got 8 points here in the first half, so it's the other guys, not named Kalkbrenner, getting it done.
McNeely, who had 38 against his team first time around, is back in the lineup. He's got 2, 1 for 5 shooting. Here's Mahaney between the rings, guarded by Ashworth, hands to Johnson. Johnson on a give to McNeely, who charges inside. He attacks Kalkbrenner, missed the shot. It's loose, and Neal comes up with it, and a jump ball is called a hell ball. It's going to be Creighton's possession. Maya Neal's upset. He thought there should have been a foul call.
So that time, McNeely beat Neal, the guy that beat him so much in the first 3 minutes of the game. But Kalkbrenner altered the shot, and the shot was missed.
Yep. And there is something to be said for having a 7-footer back there. With Kalkbrenner, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, that's Patrick Ewing territory right there.
85 blocks on the year, tops in the Big East, number 4 in the nation.
All right, Ashworth, front court left. Right sideline give to Neal. He's guarded by Stewart. Neal, isolated, gets it to the cutting Jason Green. He's got Mahaney. He drives him hard. He spins, he fades, and he hits. A little jump hook, and wow, Jason Green playing at a high level. He's got 10. He and Neal with 23 of the 37. Creighton leading by 9.
9-0 run.
Here's McNeely on the right wing. Out front to Caravan. Caravan on a handoff to Samson Johnson, front court right. Sampson looks and gives it up to McNeely. Sets him a screen. McNeely into the paint, cut off. Backs away, he's guarded by Green. Off the screen of Johnson, McNeely kicks to Caravan. Back to McNeely. McNeely guarded by Neal, and he runs out of time, and he hits a 3. Long range. He hit that one from 33rd Street. McNeely's triple, and UConn back within 6.
I wonder if they're going to look at that one because that was just released when the shot clock went down to 0.
They're going to review it. Very close. 2:52 left in the first half. And
officially they're calling a turnover, so that would indicate the stat crew thought he didn't get it off.
Yeah, it looks like the clock was at 0 and McNeely let it go. I think they're going to wipe that one out, and Creighton will still have a 9-point lead.
So each team would have 2 turnovers.
Well, 2 things, Wayne, about these 2 teams. They played twice. UConn won at Omaha, first time ever. No basket. And McNeely went off for 38 points. That was the most by a freshman, by a UConn player on the road, since Al Weston back in 1973. 38. That's 52 years, and what I'm getting around to is that Greg McDermott and his staff must have looked hard at that tape because they are all over McNeely.
Since McNeely dropped 38 at Creighton, he's only shot 33% from the floor. He was 5 of 10 from 3 in that game. He's been 28% from 3 since that time. So the numbers have come down since that record-setting night.
Well, they get it into Neal against full-court pressure, and now Ashworth will dribble it across the timeline, right to left. Starts to his right, gives it up to Neal. He's got Stewart on him. Back out front. They go to McAndrew. Now it's Ashworth on the left wing with Mahaney on him. They look to get it to Neal on a handoff. He's at the top of the key. Crossover. Under 10, down to 7. And Kalkbrenner drives to the basket, scoops it up and in. He beats Samson Johnson off the dribble. 39-28, an 11-point lead for Creighton, biggest of the game.
So 17 minutes in, Kalkbrenner gets his first field goal.
Ball comes back in. Caravan on the right wing has it. Out front to Samson Johnson. Johnson on handoff to McNeely. McNeely charges inside, floats it up and in. Nice shot over Kalkbrenner. That was difficult and much needed. 39-30. Creighton. Here's Ashworth. Crossover. And he lost it. He regained it on the near baseline. Now he still has a right-hand dribble on the left wing outside the arc. It starts to his right. Johnson picks him up on a switch. They fire it in the near corner. Here's Green for 3 over McNeely, and he made it. And so everything going Creighton's way right now. They lead 42-30. They have shot 73% in the first half. 73.
They've made their last 6 shots since the game was tied.
Here's Mahaney. Mahaney on the right wing, front court right. Gives to McNeely, who dumps inside, try to float it up and in, and it does drop. Nice play by Liam. 2 buckets in a row, 42-32, but the problem is on the defensive end. UConn's given up 42 here. A minute 10 to go in the first half, trailing by 10. Here's Green, guarded by McNeely. On the right hash, he jabs his right foot, he gives to Kalkbrenner. Kalkbrenner banks it home on a runner. Tough shot. 44-32, Creighton by 12. And UConn's going to trail again at halftime for the 15th time this season. Here's Mahaney on the left wing. Guarded by Ashworth, puts it on the floor, goes to the basket. Over Kalkbrenner, missed the shot. Down he goes in a heap two Huskies are down. They got a break with 5 men. It's 5-on-3, and they get it to Green, and Green lays it in. Creighton is rolling right now. They lead it 46-32. The Huskies with 23 seconds left. They'll get the last shot of the first half. It's Mahaney guarded by Ashworth. The Creighton crowd really into it, as well they should be. Down to 10 seconds. Mahaney between the rings. Starts to his right behind the screen of Caravan. Step back three by Mahaney. It's good. With 1 second left, and UConn goes to the locker room down by 11, 46-35. They got a lot of room to improve, that's for sure. 75% shooting by Creighton, 18 of 24. What a difference between that and the second half against Villanova by UConn's defense last night. Big hole to climb out of one more time at halftime. Stay with us. The KeyBank Halftime Report with Paul Roper coming up. Presented by Brown Paint Harrison Scott. This is UConn basketball from Learfield.
Connecticut Business Systems, a Xerox company, is a proud sponsor of the UConn Huskies. We're Connecticut's largest provider of leading Xerox office technology, workflow automation, managed print services, software solutions, and audio-visual technology. We operate locally to offer you superior service and support, combined with the most advanced technology available in the industry. Our sales professionals make it their business to understand yours. So please contact us today for a free office technology assessment. Visit us at cbs-gisx.com or call toll-free at 1-800-842-0009.
Is your retirement game plan a well-executed play or a Hail Mary pass? Hi, I'm Jake Dozer, Certified Financial Planner. At Johnson Brunetti, we've helped over 5,000 families prepare for and live in retirement. And now we're proud to be the official wealth management sponsor of the UConn Huskies. Visit us at johnsonbrunetti.com and get free financial planning books and resources. Johnson Brunetti Retirement and Investment Specialists.
Johnson Brunetti is a marketing name for the businesses of JB Capital and JN Financial. Investment advisory services offered through JB Capital, LLC. Insurance products offered through JN Financial, LLC.
Husky fans, you know what it takes to win, and so do we. Channel 3 Eyewitness News has the drive and dedication to get you morning ready. Breaking news, we're in it to win it with your reporters live in your town all morning long.
Your reporter in West Hartford, your reporter in stores.
And when you need to make a fast break out the door, we deliver first alert weather and traffic every 10 minutes so you never have to wait. The Huskies in Channel 3 Eyewitness News this morning. 2 MVP lineups always there for you.
Are you traveling out of Bradley Airport and need a safe, reliable place to park your car? Trust your vehicle to Last Fly Off-Airport Parking, located on Route 75 in Windsor Locks. They have both valet and self-park options to fit any budget. Last Fly is open 24 hours a day and will get you to the airport on time, every time. Join their loyalty program to earn points for free parking, and be sure to ask about their corporate discounts. Save 20% by pre-booking online at lazfly.com. Last Fly is the official parking company and a proud supporter of UConn Athletics.
Minutes are in the books. This is the KeyBank Halftime Report. KeyBank is the exclusive retail bank of UConn men's basketball. Coming up, we'll recap the first half and check scores from across the country. Now, let's go to the Learfield Network studios.
Well, Huskies find themselves in an all-too-familiar position, and it's trailing at the half as they are down by 11 to Creighton. Got the break in Madison Square Garden, Big East Tournament Semifinal. Paul Roper with you in the Learfield Network studios. It is 46-35 for the Jays over the Huskies. Let's take a look around UConn Athletics. We'll start with men's ice hockey. They were at home in the Hockey East quarterfinal against Providence.
Muldowney on the forecheck with Guillaume Richard back. Right on the stick of Tattle. Plays it to Richard, right circle. Little toe drag in the middle. Right. Muldowney! Score! Tic-tac-toe.
That's Bob Joyce on the UConn Sports Network from Learfield. Huskies at an empty netter late, making a 3-1 final over the Friars. UConn advances to next week's semifinals in Boston. They will not know their opponent, but the rest of the quarterfinals are played tomorrow, and they will reseed the teams for Boston. UConn baseball scores 6 runs in the fourth inning, hangs on for dear life in North Carolina against Campbell.
The Camels bring the tie and run 90 feet away in the ninth inning, but the Huskies get the final out to secure a 6-5 win over the Camels. And UConn softball drops a doubleheader to Tennessee. Second game just went final as the 7th-ranked Volunteers win it in 10 innings, 4-3 over UConn. Halftime score at Madison Square Garden, Creighton 46, UConn 35. We'll take a look at scores from college basketball after this, presented by Brown, Pandeiros, and Scott. This is UConn men's basketball from Learfield.
UConn fans, when it comes to sports injuries, do you know where the Huskies go?
UConn Health, Connecticut's public academic medical center. Our doctors advance research and train future generations of healthcare experts.
All while offering the latest in injury prevention, treatment, and performance improvement for athletes, for everyone.
When it comes to UConn athletics, our physicians are their physicians and should be your physicians too.
Make their doctors your doctors.
UConn Health. Learn more at health.uconn.edu.
Planning a move? Let Lippincott Van Lines, the official mover of the UConn Huskies, take the worry and stress out of your relocation. Whether you're moving across the country, across the world, or just across the street, Lippincott Van Lines will handle your packing, moving, and storage needs with the care and quality they deserve. If the UConn Huskies football team can trust Lippincott to get their gear to the field on time, you can trust them to get your items where they need to be. Call Lippincott Van Lines today for a free estimate at 800-245-8563.
Which schools will take home the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup as the top college athletic programs for the 2024-25 college athletics season? You can follow the standings of your favorite team or alma mater at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. Trophies will be awarded in June 2025 to the winning institutions in all college sports divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
College sports fans now have access to hundreds of weekly podcasts that zero in on the college sports world. Now available in the Varsity Podcast Network and part of the new Varsity app. The app is free and available from wherever you get your favorite apps. Download the Varsity app today to have access to hundreds of national podcasts as well as your favorite team-focused podcasts. The Varsity Podcast Network now available for free on the Varsity app. Download from the App Store and listen today.
(46-35), Creighton with the lead over UConn at the break in the Big East Tournament Semifinal. Paul Roper with you in the Learfield Network studios to look at scores from across the country. Winner of our game will take on St. John's tomorrow. That's after the Red Storm defeat Marquette 79-63. Games in progress from other conference tournaments. SEC Tournament quarterfinal between Alabama and Kentucky sees the Crimson Tide leading the Wildcats 27-21 under 8 media timeout in the first half. Winner of that game will face Florida after the Gators dispose of Missouri 95-81. ACC Tournament Semifinal, Louisville with a 21-19 lead over Clemson. That's with 7.5 minutes left to play until halftime. Duke will be the finalist in that ACC tournament. Winner will play Duke, although that did not come easy for the Blue Devils. They were up by 21 at the break. North Carolina had an opportunity to force overtime at the buzzer. In fact, had a tying free throw in the late stages that was wiped out by a lane violation. And North Carolina is denied of what would have been a quad one victory to help strengthen its case for the bubble. Instead, they'll have to wait and see whether their brand recognition is enough to get them into the field of 68 on Sunday. Duke wins at 71-74 as they hang on against North Carolina. Duke without both Malik Brown and Cooper Flagg in that one. Elsewhere, Texas Tech a 32-31 lead over Arizona. 5 minutes left to play in the first half. Big 12 championship semifinal. Winner of that game will face Houston in the championship tomorrow. And Michigan with a 52-41 lead over Purdue. 16 minutes left to play in regulation in Indianapolis in a Big Ten tournament quarterfinal. Back at Madison Square Garden, it's the Jays 46, the Huskies 35. Wayne Norman has first half stats after this. Presented by Brown, Pandeiros, and Scott. This is UConn men's basketball from Learfield.
Husky fans, you know what it takes to win, and so do we. Channel 3 Eyewitness News has the drive and dedication to get you morning ready. Breaking news, we're in it to win it with your reporters live in your town all morning long.
Your reporter in West Hartford, your reporter in stores.
And when you need to make a fast break out the door, we deliver first alert weather and traffic every 10 minutes so you never have to wait. The Huskies in Channel 3 Eyewitness News this morning. 2 MVP lineups always there for you.
At KeyBank, we know a small moment like, whoa, my kid's got a serious backhand. Can lead to an even bigger question like, tennis campus how much? And that's the type of moment where we'll meet you to help you build a savings plan for expenses big and small so your money can make money. Mike, how's that sound?
Sounds like match point.
Sounds like love.
We could serve up tennis puns all day.
For every financial need, we'll meet you in the moment. KeyBank opens doors. KeyBank member FDIC.
The passion, the tradition, the rivalries. SiriusXM is your destination for all things college sports. And we've got you covered on SiriusXM College Sports Radio. There's complete coverage of every major conference, plus live games and 24/7 talk and analysis. So cheer along on the SiriusXM app and listen to your favorite team anywhere. And now you can get 3 months of SiriusXM free. Subscribe now and see offer details at SiriusXM.com/collegesportsradio25.
A true teammate takes on every day with a winner's attitude, gets up when they fall down, and leaves it all on the field. There's a group of teammates who do all these things every single day. But they're more than your typical athlete. They're kids dealing with unthinkable medical circumstances. Team Impact matches children facing serious illness or disability with college sports teams, creating a long-term, life-changing experience for everyone involved. Help us get all kids in the game. Visit teamimpact.org. Team Impact. All in, all together.
UConn has now trailed in 9 of the last 13 games this year. Last night they were down 5 at halftime and came back with a huge second half. They'll need that tonight as they're behind at halftime to Creighton 46-35. Creighton made its last 8 shots of the half. They are shooting 75% from the floor, 18 of 24. And I went back to my records. All I had time to do was go back to 2018. That is the best opponent shooting half by far that I found in any half dating back to 2018. The season high this year had been Colorado out in Maui. They shot 63% in the second half. Baylor at Campbell shot 59% in the first half. A couple of teams shot 57%. And then the last couple of years before that, the highest that I found was 63% in the year before that first of the 2 national championships, 2022. That's how extreme what's happened here in the first half is. As Creighton led in scoring by Jason Green. He's got 15 points. Neal scored the first 9 Creighton points. He's got 13, was 4 of 5 from the floor and made both of his 3-point attempts. Ashworth had just 5 points. Kalkbrenner had just 4. It's the other guys besides the big 2 doing it for the Blue Jays. And McAndrew started at forward. He had just 3 points. Well off the bench, Fedor Zuhic got 4 points. Miller got 2, and they got no points by Davis, King, and Trout. UConn, led by Hassan Diarra, did most of his damage early, including a season-high equaling 3 made 3-pointers. He's the only double-figure scorer for the Huskies, who got 4 from Alex Karaban, 6 from Liam McNeely. Most of those came late. Aiden Mahaney made a 3. It was the last field goal of the half. Samson Johnson had 2 points. Solomon Ball had 6 points for the Huskies. Terrace Reed got in quick foul trouble, played 1 minute and got 2 fouls. And Jaden Ross had 3 points for the Huskies, who shot 14 of 30, 47%. They were 6 of 9 from three-point range. Villanova, make that Creighton was 4 for 6 from three-point range. Huskies were 1 of 3 from the line, and Creighton was 6 of 9 from the line. UConn was out-rebounded by Creighton. This is a UConn team that over the last 11 games has out-rebounded their opponents by 10 rebounds per game. 15-10 was the Creighton rebounding edge. Creighton got 2 offensive rebounds, good for 4 second-chance points. UConn got 5 offensive rebounds, good for 9 second-chance points. Each team had only 2 turnovers in the first half. Points off turnovers, Creighton 4 and UConn 2. Points in the paint, 24-16 in favor of Creighton. Creighton had 2 fast break hoops. UConn had none. Huskies had both blocks in the first half, one by Karaban, one by Johnson. And UConn had 4 assists on 14 field goals. That's very un-UConn-like in the first half. Part of that's because some of their offense came on second chance, in one case a third chance basket. And Creighton had 9 assists on 18 field goals. So at halftime it is 46-35 in favor of Creighton. Today's date in 1991, UConn beat Shaquille O'Neal. It was the NCAA Midwest Region first-round game in Minneapolis. as LSU was the 6th seed. UConn was the 11th seed. Chris Smith had 25 points for UConn. John Gwynn off the bench. The microwave had 17. Shaquille O'Neal had 27 points and 16 rebounds. The problem was the supporting cast. He had 27. The rest of the team scored just 35 points. Rod Sellers had 13 points and 10 rebounds for UConn as the Huskies went on to beat Xavier in the second round before Xavier and UConn were Big East rivals before losing to Duke in the Sweet 16 on today's date in 1991. Here it's Creighton, the 2nd seed, 46. UConn, the 3rd seed, 35. Second half is on deck. You're listening to UConn Men's Basketball on Learfield, presented by Brown, Panderas, and Scott.
Hi, this is Nick Kaplanson from Dime Bank. To win a championship, it takes more than just good players and coaches. It takes a whole community dedicated to the same goal. The same is true when it comes to banking. A successful banking relationship is built from a community fully dedicated to meeting the banking needs of its customers. If you're ready to experience a better approach to banking, come join our community at Dime. It's your bank, your choice, your Dime.
Dime Bank. Community banking lives here. Member FDIC.
Is your retirement game plan a well-executed play or a Hail Mary pass? Hi, I'm Jake Dozer, Certified Financial Planner. At Johnson Brunetti, we've helped over 5,000 families prepare for and live in retirement. And now we're proud to be the official wealth management sponsor of the UConn Huskies. Visit us at johnsonbrunetti.com and get free financial planning books and resources. Johnson Brunetti Retirement and Investment Specialists.
Johnson Brunetti is a marketing name for the businesses of JB Capital and JN Financial. Investment advisory services offered through JB Capital, LLC. Insurance products offered through JN Financial, LLC.
Power Station Events is the official production partner of the UConn Huskies, the ultimate one-stop source featuring audio, video, lighting, staging, talented DJs and musicians, photography and videography, stunning decor and florals, and much more. As we celebrate our 40th anniversary, we want to thank UConn Nation as we look forward to the next 40 years. Visit us at powerstationevents.com and let us help you plan your next awesome event.
College sports fans now have access to hundreds of weekly podcasts that zero in on the college sports world. Now available in the Varsity Podcast Network and part of the new Varsity app. The app is free and available from wherever you get your favorite apps. Download the Varsity app today to have access to hundreds of national podcasts as well as your favorite team-focused podcasts. The Varsity Podcast Network now available for free on the Varsity app. Download from the App Store and listen today.
This copyrighted broadcast is an exclusive presentation of Learfield under the broadcasting rights granted by the University of Connecticut. Reuse of this presentation is prohibited without the expressed written consent of the University of Connecticut and Learfield. Announcers are provided by Learfield and approved by the University of Connecticut.
We're back at Madison Square Garden. Second half just about to begin. Mike Crispino, Wayne Norman, John Ashmead, our engineer. And again, UConn trails at half for the 15th time this year. The Huskies have come back to win 8 times. The biggest deficit prior to this, was 12 points against Providence at Gamble when the Huskies allowed 57% shooting by the Friars in the first half. UConn came back to win that ball game. So here they are again, and maybe this is the biggest hill to climb because this is tournament time. And you got to win this game to get to the championship game, and Creighton is halfway there.
Huskies trailed almost all the first half, and then they came back to tie it. This game was tied at 28. Creighton made its next 8 shots, the final 8 shots of the half, to finish up 18 for 24. UConn made 3 of its last 4, but the horse left the barn at that point in time. The Mahaney 3 kind of cut that deficit a little bit, but not enough. They've still got a big hill to climb here in the second half, and I would think that starts with defense. They've pretty much contained Kalkbrenner again, and also Ashworth. It's the other guys, including Green. Green's been a real thorn. He was a big problem in that late 8-for-8 shooting thing. He got, 1, 2, 3 field goals in that run.
And the winner gets St. John's, as St. John's rolled over Marquette. They swept 3 straight games from Marquette this year. UConn trying to win the rubber game for the second night in a row. They had Villanova last night. They were able to do it. The Huskies gave up 50 points to St. John's in this building last time they were in this building in the loss to the Red Storm. So the Huskies will go right to left, Carabin to inbound the ball to Diarra. Haas got off to a great start, had 11 early points, ended up 4 of 8. He has it on the right sideline, the ball. Ball back to Carabin on the right wing. Carabin skips over the ball, guarded by Ashworth. Ball fires outside of McNeely for 3. McNeely rims it in and out. It's pinned up there, and they're diving on the floor, and Johnson comes up with it, but Green is fouled by McNeely. And it might be a breakaway foul on McNeely.
It is.
He grabbed him around the waist. That's a EuroLeague move, and that's not good because it's going to be free throws plus possession.
Grabbed him around the waist. It would have been an easy layup after the Green steal. Green has been the difference in this game. He's been really good.
7 for 7. He could be a little better. Could be 8 for 8.
And again, he'd had 1 point in the last 2 games.
And now he adds a free throw. So just like the Providence game at Gamble, Huskies give up a couple of points if he makes his free throw to start the second half. It'll be Green. He's got 16 right now. And he makes them both. And so Creighton, with a 13-point lead, gets the ball again. And he'll inbound it next to their own bench. It'll be Jason Green. And he gives it up to Jemiah Neal. He's guarded by Diarra. Diarra tries to strip him of the ball. He gives it to Ashworth on the left sideline. They pound it down low to Green. Working on Carabin, trying to post him up. Sticking his left arm out, and a foul is called on Carabin, I believe.
I don't know, Mike. I was watching that defensive matchup, and I didn't think Carabin did anything wrong on that. Oh, he grabbed his, okay, I got it. He grabbed his left elbow. I'm not sure that's when the whistle was, though. I think he got away with that one. Nonetheless, Alex gets foul number 2.
All right, they inbound the ball to Kalkbrenner. Give it up to Green on the left wing, back to Kalkbrenner. He's got Johnson on his hip. Try to drive him in with the left shoulder. Jump hook goes in. So Creighton, everything going their way. A 15-point lead, 50-35. First minute of the second half. Here's Diarra between the rings. Fires left to McNeely. McNeely guarded by Neal. Hands to Johnson. Johnson with a scoop pass to Ball. Back to McNeely, who spins to his right. In the paint, he attacks Kalkbrenner. Can't get the shot off. Now it's Diarra driving it left. Along the near baseline. Works on McAndrews. Keeps it. Got to get a shot off. And Carabin will get it off. No, he won't. That's a 30-second shot clock violation.
4 turnovers for the Huskies. That's a good number. 2 of those 4 are shot clock violations.
So it'll be Creighton ball. Last night, Creighton trailed most of the night against DePaul. Here tonight, they're leading most of the way against UConn. Ashworth at the front court. Between the rings, he's got it by Ball. Left-hand dribble. They try to ISO Neal on the left sideline. He hands it back to Ashworth at the hash. Starts to his right. Ball comes loose. Ashworth picks it up. Ball guards him. Now they're down to 8. They give it to Kalkbrenner outside the arc on the left wing. And he hands back to Ashworth behind the screen. Kalkbrenner throws up a floater and almost banked it in, but the rebound is picked up by Creighton, and another foul on Carabin. UConn a half step behind here to start the second half as the hole gets deeper.
So they made their last 8 shots of the first half, made their first of the second half by Kalkbrenner. That's 9 straight. And late in the first half, they also scored 11 points in a row. So against UConn this year, that's the 10th time they've given up a double-figure run like that.
Well, they inbound to Kalkbrenner. 20 seconds to shoot. He's guarded by Samson Johnson. Back to Ashworth. Step back 3 over McNeely. No good. Rebound ball. Terrace Reid has been a no-show in this game. Johnson's played most of the way.
1 minute, 2 fouls for Reid.
Here's McNeely driving against Kalkbrenner. Puts it up, no good. Rebounded by Scale and Stewart. Back to Ball. Ball with a 3, and he hits it from the left wing, pardon me. And Solo now. Got the Huskies back within 12, 50-38. Got to go 4 minutes at a time now when you're down like this. This is Ashworth, front court right. Ball with 9 points. Ashworth at the left hash, starts back to his right, keeps his dribble. McNeely picks him up. He spins it left to Jason Green for a jumper. No good, front rim, got to get the rebound. They don't do it. It's McAndrew. Another three by Ashworth, and he makes it. So Creighton doing it all. Coming up with rebounds, a lead back to 15.
Answers the ball three at the other end.
There's Diarra between the rings. Kicks it over to McNeely left. McNeely backs away from the defender, McAndrew. As the right-hand dribble fires the ball. Another three by Solo. Tough shot, no good. And it goes over the backboard and out of play. So UConn, things looking bleak right now, but 16:50 left in the game as Mahaney comes in, and he will guard Ashworth. 53-38, Creighton leads with 17 minutes to go. It's Ashworth on a bounce to Neal. He's guarded by Diarra on the right sideline. Back up front to Ashworth. Tries to blow by Johnson, can't do it. Guarded by Mahaney. They pound it down low to Kalkbrenner. Kalkbrenner posting up on Johnson. He pushes, he shoves. Kalkbrenner spins, jump hook, good. So Kalkbrenner doing it all right now, and the Huskies don't have any answers. They're down 17, 55-38.
It's like Kalkbrenner the second half last night against DePaul.
Well, Mahaney has it on the right wing, out front to Johnson. Johnson with a handoff to McNeely. McNeely into the paint. Gives it up to Hassan. Foul line down to the left. Hassan in the paint back to Samson Johnson. Now it's Jalen Stewart. Floater by Stewie is good on a runner. About 10-footer. 55-40. Now here is Ashworth being guarded by Mahaney. Gives it up to Neal on the left sideline at the hash. He's got Diarra on him. Neal starts to his right. Puts it on the floor. Doubled for the moment. They go down low to Kalkbrenner, makes the catch on the baseline, tries to work on Johnson. Johnson defends him, and a foul is called on Samson Johnson. So UConn down 15. He goes to the first timeout under 16 minutes to go in the game.
Well, to Johnson's credit, he's been the one-on-one defender on Kalkbrenner, and for most of the game, he's taken Kalkbrenner out of it. Kalkbrenner's made some shots lately, but with Reed in foul trouble early on, that's the first foul on Samson Johnson.
Well, the NCAA Women's Basketball Tournament returns to Gamble next weekend. First and second round play tickets for all three games at $39 for adults, $25 for kids, 18 and under with parking extra. Go to UConnTickets.com today. Tickets going fast. It's your chance, your last chance to see the Huskies at home this season. UConnTickets.com. You're listening to UConn Men's Basketball on Learfield, presented by Brown, Penderris, and Scott. Huskies down 15.
Are you traveling out of Bradley Airport and need a safe, reliable place to park your car? Trust your vehicle to Last Fly Off-Airport Parking, located on Route 75 in Windsor Locks. They have both valet and self-park options to fit any budget. Last Fly is open 24 hours a day and will get you to the airport on time, every time. Join their loyalty program to earn points for free parking, and be sure to ask about their corporate discounts. Save 20% by pre-booking online at lazfly.com. Last Fly is the official parking company and a proud supporter of UConn Athletics.
UConn fans, when it comes to sports injuries, do you know where the Huskies go?
UConn Health, Connecticut's public academic medical center. Our doctors advance research and train future generations of healthcare experts.
All while offering the latest in injury prevention, treatment, and performance improvement for athletes, for everyone.
When it comes to UConn athletics, our physicians are their physicians and should be your physicians too.
Make their doctors your doctors.
UConn Health. Learn more at health.uconn.edu.
Aw, shucks, the game's on TV, but I can't listen to the call of my favorite team broadcasters.
Never fear, Sync My Game is here.
Sync My Game?
Yes, Sync My Game. If you have a DVR and streaming device, head to syncmygame.com from Learfield. It's never been easier to hear the impassioned voices of your favorite radio crew synced with the TV.
Wow, thank you, Mr.
Just remember, syncmygame.com. This is UConn Men's Basketball, presented by Key Bank. Now back to our broadcast location.
The unexpected happens every day. When it does, head to Kohl's, Kohl's.com for everything your family needs. Kohl's, where families come first. UConn in a big hole, trailing 55-40 with 15:36 to go in the ballgame. Creighton shooting 70% after shooting 75% in the first half. And they have come out and gone 3 for 6. they're cooling off, Wayne. They're only 3 of 6 in the second half, Creighton.
You know, and last year when UConn won the national championship in 2024, they lost one game in January, February, March, and April. And that was in Omaha at Creighton, and the Huskies got their doors blown off. They were red hot. Creighton was from three-point range, 12 of 24 from 3. They're not doing it quite like that today. They're finding a variety of other ways to score, however. But this game has the making of that kind of a loss right now. Huskies just can't stop Creighton. Mike mentioned the 70% shooting, and UConn just goes in too many scoring droughts. The three-point shots kept them in it, but just right now they're 2 for 5 in the second half and just can't find enough answers. And the answers have to begin with stops at the defensive end, and UConn just can't do that.
Well, so far they can.
Creighton has now made 11 of their last 14 shots after the game was tied at 29.
All right, so the Huskies back out there. Still a long way to go. 15-36. And Creighton will inbound to our right. They get it into Neal in the far corner front of his own bench. He jabs at his right foot. And a foul away from the ball on Caravan. And Alex Caravan never says 2 words to anybody about anything when a whistle blows, and now he's got to go to the bench. And he had a few things to say after that.
He's got 4 fouls, and he picked up a couple of them quickly here in the second half.
Well, he's going to have to play at some point again. They get it into Neal. He's guarded by Diarra. Now it's Kalkbrenner on the baseline, guarded by Reed. Drives the left shoulder and goes to the right. Left hand, no good. Rebounded by Diarra. Haas to the front court. Haas to the top of the key. Huskies got to be patient. They got to be defending. They got to rebound and just do what they can to cut into this lead. Diarra starts back to his right off a screen by McNeely. Now to his left into the paint. Hands over to McNeely for 3, and McNeely off the back rim, no good. Rebounded by Reed. Reed powers his way in and puts it up left-handed. Wow, what a shot by Reed. He just bullied Kalkbrenner right there. 55-42. UConn trails. Ashworth guarded by Mahaney. Now Ashworth starts to the left hash in front of his own bench. Back to his right hand, he attacks Mahaney. He can't get a shot off. He's just dribbling time off the clock. It's down to 10. Now tries to blow by Mahaney with a left-hand dribble. Can't get the shot off. McAndrew. Now Ashworth. It's Kalkbrenner on the right wing. He's got to launch one. It's an air ball. Rebounded by Stewart as they call the shot clock violation. Just one thing at a time right now for UConn. A basket, a stop, and maybe another one, and see if they can add them up together and get back in it.
Speaking of the issues UConn has had defensively, Creighton shooting 66% now. They average 12.5 turnovers a game. That's their third of this game. UConn not able to force turnovers either.
All right, Diarra across the timeline on the right sideline. He's front court left, right in front of Dan Hurley, and a foul away from the ball. It's on Neal. He's holding McNeely, and the UConn fans with a mock cheer.
It's amazing how quiet Neal has been. He scored the first 9 Creighton points of the game. He's got 13 now, but other guys, including Green, have stepped it up.
All right, McNeely inbound to our left. We're going to get it in, and gets it into Reed at the high post left. Reed kicks it back to McNeely, dribbles into the paint, spins around, back toward the basket, and he lays it in. What happened there? Creighton's defense fell asleep. McNeely took advantage. 55-44. UConn crowd getting into it. They're back to where they were at halftime. Here's Ashworth, down by 11. And he hands it off to McAndrew. Drives to his right. He's guarded by McNeely. This is Zukic on the left wing outside the arc, guarded by Jalen Stewart. Now Zukic backs away, and he gives to Ashworth. Ashworth down to 4, down to 3. Long 3, no good. Rebound, Reed. Hands to McNeely. Across the timeline, here's McNeely. On the left wing, puts it on the floor. He attacks Zukic, he got fouled, they dropped it in! Did he count the bucket? That's the question. Did he count the bucket? I think they should. Let's see. He did. He counted the basket, and McNeely has a chance for a three-point play. He got clipped as he drove inside. And so McNeely, as UConn gets it to 9, goes to the line.
Fedor Zukic got the foul on McNeely. Huskies have now scored 8 straight points in 2.5 minutes to cut into that lead and bring it down to single digits.
McNeely, free throw up, free throw good, off the right side of the rim and the backboard and in. 55-47, 13:20 to go. UConn Nation coming alive here at the Garden. Zukic looking inbound against full court pressure. Gets it into Neal. Neal guarded by Diarra. Across the timeline, left to right. Everybody on their feet now. Here's Neal. Picked up by Mahaney on a switch. Crossover move into the paint. He spins, and he's blocked by Reed. Rebound by Diarra. Diarra to the front court. Attacking. Puts up a floater. In and out. Rebound. Kalkbrenner. Ooh. That one was halfway down the cylinder. Here's Neal. Left sideline to our right. Puts it on the floor. Tries to attack Diarra. Can't beat him. Back out front to Ashworth. Mahaney gets in front of him. Now they fire it left to Neal. He drives inside. Kicks to Kalkbrenner for 3 over Stewart. No! Rebound Reed. Missed the rim. Outlet McNeely. Front court left. Here's McNeely. Play call comes from the sideline. Out front to Reed. Reed a couple of dribbles. Top of the key. Back to McNeely. Spins into the paint. Backs away. Going to fire a 3. No good. Rebound Stewart. Kick out Mahaney for 3. That's good. UConn within 5. Timeout. Blue Jays. And the Husky Nation in the house as Mahaney and company are back in this thing. 12-11 to go in the ball game. 55-50. Creighton, that 15-point lead, has melted to 5.
On a 12-0 UConn run. Liam McNeely has a couple of hoops in that run. Reed got a putback, and now Mahaney from Stewart.
All right, if you'd like to listen to us while synced up to your TV in the comfort of your own home, all you got to do is go to syncmygame.com. That's SYNC mygame.com to find out how. You're listening to UConn Men's Basketball on Learfield, presented by Brown Penderis and Scott.
Hi, this is Nick Kaplanson from Dime Bank. To win a championship, it takes more than just good players and coaches. It takes a whole community dedicated to the same goal. The same is true when it comes to banking. A successful banking relationship is built from a community fully dedicated to meeting the banking needs of its customers. If you're ready to experience a better approach to banking, come join our community at Dime. It's your bank, your choice, your Dime.
Dime Bank. Community banking lives here. Member FDIC.
Fight on, Connecticut. This is the UConn Sports Network from Learfield.
Comes to a gun suicide attempt, all it takes is a moment.
My son Ricky took his life by the use of a firearm. It broke me, and I contemplated suicide. My grandson, I was going to have to be here for him. I still own my firearm. I keep it in a safe because I want to keep my grandson and myself safe.
Store your guns, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo. Hear more safe stories at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
This message is for Shauna, my mom who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You told me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
They're looking for a great golf club to join in Connecticut this season. Look no further than the Wallingford Country Club. They put $2 million into course improvements, and they had no tee times. You got to like that. Visit wallingfordcc.com. UConn has barged back into this game. They trail 55-50 with 12-11 to go as Creighton cooperating a little bit. No points in the last 4 minutes and 16 seconds.
Well, Mike, I made the obvious comment a while ago that job one, if you want to come back, is get some stops. UConn has done that. Creighton's missed its last 5 shots, a turnover in there as well, and they missed 8 of their last 10. Meanwhile, the Huskies in the second half are 6 of 12, up to 48% shooting, and Creighton shot 75% in the first half. I could only go back to 2018 here at the Garden for my notes, but I couldn't find anything even resembling that from a team, an opponent shooting like that. But UConn has scored the last 12 points. That's the 21st run of double-digit scoring for UConn. Late in the game last night against Villanova, the 15-0 run was the longest of the year. Nothing quite like that 30-0 run in the Elite 8 last year against Illinois, though.
All right, so it'll be Zukic to inbound to our left against full-court pressure, and he gets it into Neal. He's guarded by Diarra. He passes over to Ashworth, and Ashworth crosses the timeline left to right with the right-hand dribble, and he hands to Neal. Diarra guards him between the rings. Back in the right wing, Zukic. He's isoed with Jalen Stewart. Now he fires it to Ashworth. Top of the arc. He's got Mahaney on him. He jabs with his left foot. He tries left. Spins in traffic. Nowhere to go. What's he got? Time running out. Down to 5. Down to 4. Down to 3. Neal to the basket over McHale. He missed the shot. Rebound Stewart. Good D by Jalen Stewart as Neal forced it up and couldn't get it to go.
He has not scored in the last 12 minutes of game time.
All right, Diarra, front court, back to McNeely on the left wing. Now he's on the right wing with it. Started by Neal. Looks for Mahaney. Gets it to Mahaney. Mahaney now to high post to Reed. Reed looks to hand it off. Gets it to Diarra on a handoff. And here's Diarra down to 3. Got to shoot it. Forces it up. Missed the shot. Shot clock violation.
Third one of the game. UConn has only 5 turnovers in the game, and 3 are shot clock violations.
Dan Hurley going over to hug Aiden Mahaney, but he made a mistake because he didn't run the play early enough, and the Huskies had to throw up a shot and couldn't beat the shot clock. So that gets us under 12 minutes at 11:08 to go. But the Huskies are back in at 55-50. They trail. UConn basketball presented in part by JT Gommel, the suit store, your destination for sharp, custom-tailored suits that make a statement. Dress your best with JT Gommel. Let's pause 10 seconds for station ID. You're listening to UConn men's basketball on Learfield, presented by Brown Paint, Darris and Scott.
A true teammate takes on every day with a winner's attitude, gets up when they fall down, and leaves it all on the field. There's a group of teammates who do all these things every single day. But they're more than your typical athlete. They're kids dealing with unthinkable medical circumstances. Team Impact matches children facing serious illness or disability with college sports teams, creating a long-term, life-changing experience for everyone involved. Help us get all kids in the game. Visit teamimpact.org. Team Impact. All in, all together.
Planning a move? Let Lippincott Van Lines, the official mover of the UConn Huskies, take the worry and stress out of your relocation. Whether you're moving across the country, across the world, or just across the street, Lippincott Van Lines will handle your packing, moving, and storage needs with the care and quality they deserve. If the UConn Huskies football team can trust Lippincott to get their gear to the field on time, you can trust them to get your items where they need to be. Call Lippincott Van Lines today for a free estimate at 800-245-8563.
At KeyBank, we know a small moment like,
whoa, my kid's got a serious backhand.
Can lead to an even bigger question like,
tennis campus how much?
And that's the type of moment where we'll meet you to help you build a savings plan for expenses big and small so your money can make money. Mike, how's that sound?
Sounds like match point.
Sounds like love.
We could serve up tennis puns all day.
For every financial need, we'll meet you in the moment. KeyBank opens doors. KeyBank member FDIC.
The UConn Huskies are on the air. You're listening to UConn men's basketball, presented by KeyBank. Now back to our broadcast location.
2025 UConn football schedule is out. Huskies will host 6 home games in the fall at Rensselaer Field. Head coach Jim Mora and the Huskies coming off a 2024 season where they had 9 wins, including that victory at the Fenway Bowl. That's the most they've had since 2007. Become a UConn football season ticket holder by visiting UConnHuskies.com/football season tickets. They're as low as $99. Be there for the tailgating, football, and affordable family fun of UConn football at the Rent. Visit UConnHuskies.com/football to become a UConn football season ticket holder today.
Speaking of UConn football, one of the better quarterbacks in UConn history, Shane Stafford, is 49 years old today. He was the quarterback of the team that went to the postseason for the first time in UConn history before all those bowl games back in Skip Holtz's last year in 1998 when they went to the 1AA playoffs and beat Hampton before losing to Georgia Southern. But he was a good guy. Plus, he had some good players to throw the ball to. Carl Bond, among others. Torrey Taylor.
They inbound the ball to Creighton against pressure by the Huskies, and they hand it over to Ashworth, and he navigates his way across the timeline, left to right. He stands between the rings to Kalkbrenner at the high post, guarded by Reed. Kalkbrenner in some trouble, trying to give it up to Ashworth, and he does. Ashworth pull-up 15-footer is good. He rolled off the screen by Kalkbrenner, and the bucket gets Creighton back up by 7. Ashworth has 10 now.
Ends the 12-0 UConn run.
Here's Reed at the high post left, gives to Diarra out front. Haas holding there. Neal is hounding McNeely. McNeely gets the pass off the high screen of Reed, puts up a difficult shot, and it's no good. Knocked out of bounds. They say off Kalkbrenner. No, they say off Reed. Ball will come back in for Diarra. 57-50, 10:24 to go in the game. UConn trailing by 7. Ashworth, Mahaney picks him up between the rings. Starts to his left with a left-hand dribble. Fires in the far corner to Zukic. Bounce pass down low to Kalkbrenner, working on Reed. Trying to post him up. Drives the left shoulder in, spins. Ducks underneath. Can't get the shot off. He does. He misses. Reed, great D. Outlet Mahaney. Mahaney right sideline with it. Off the high screen of Reed. Mahaney keeps his dribble. He's guarded there by Trout. Tries to drive by Trout. Fires to Reed. Reed trying to power his way on a Kalkbrenner. Ducks underneath. Nowhere to go. Ball comes loose. They got to start over again. Now Mahaney with 7 to 6, 5, and a jumper. In and out. Rebounded by Neal. Reed couldn't get an offensive shot off. Good D by Kalkbrenner that time.
I thought that was way over 3 seconds in the lane for Reed.
Got away with it. Ashworth gives to Trout on the left sideline. Diarra's going to check in again. Out front it's Kalkbrenner. Back to Ashworth. He's guarded by Stewart, and a reach-in foul is called on Stewie. That is the 16th foul on UConn. So 9:15 to go, and you don't want this team on the free throw line. They're an excellent free throw shooting team.
Some of the Huskies' big guns have been pretty quiet today. Caravan on the bench with 4 fouls. Just 4 points after the big game last night. 2 for 7 shooting. Solo Ball, a quiet 9 points. He has made 2 threes, but he's not had the explosive game he had against them when UConn won out there in Omaha.
All right, it's going to be Green to inbound, cross the court from us in front of his own bench. He gets it to Ashworth. Ashworth on the left wing. He's picked up by Diarra. On a bounce to Neal on the left hash. They're trying to go down low to Green. Neal with a left-hand dribble. He's got Stewart in front of him. Crossover. Good D by Stewie. A fadeaway, no good, and the rebound Reed. 15-footer off the back rim. And it's Diarra to the front court to Ball. Ball into the paint. Pull-up, tough shot. Good! Solo from about 15 away. UConn back within 5, 57-52. Ball in double figures with 11. 3 men with 11. There's Ashworth, the Kalkbrenner, high post left. Guarded by Stewart. Kalkbrenner fires it right to Neal between the rings. He's guarded by Diarra, 8.5 to go. Fires left to Green. They go down low. It's Kalkbrenner, left to the paint. Drives the left shoulder in. Ball comes loose. Stolen by McNeely. McNeely drives to the basket. Lays it up. Missed it. Rebound Trout. He's doubled. And he gets rid of it to Kalkbrenner. UConn could have got within 3. Here's Ashworth, front court right. Picked up by Stewart outside the arc. Scoops it over to Neal. He's got Diarra on him at the foul line extended right. Puts it on the floor with a left-hand dribble. Backs away with his right hand. Starts to his left. 10 to shoot. Diarra. He tries to attack Diarra all the way to the paint. Reed blocked it. UConn comes up with it. It's Ball. Ball front court left to Jay Stu. Back to Solo. Solo skips it right to Diarra. They get a play call from the bench. 57-52. UConn trails by 5, 7.5 to go. McNeely, guarded by Trout. Out front to Reed. Reed holds, hands to the ball to the paint, lost it, regains it, gets it to Diarra. Diarra in the left corner, back up front to McNeely. Down to 5, got to throw a long 3 up. In and out, rebound Reed. Oh, man, he gets to Diarra. What do we got here? UConn possession. And the under 8-minute timeout with 7:16 to go. That's an eternity. And UConn trailing by 5, 57-52.
That looked like an over-the-back call on Kalkbrenner on the Reed rebound.
And you are correct, sir. That is a foul on Kalkbrenner. And that's why the whistle blew. And we got a dead ball. And now we have the timeout under 8 minutes. UConn Basketball is sponsored by UConn Health, the official healthcare provider of UConn Athletics. Make their doctors your doctors. You're listening to UConn Men's Basketball, the Big East Tournament in Madison Square Garden on Learfield, presented by Brown Paint Harrison Scott.
Is your retirement game plan a well-executed play or a Hail Mary pass? Hi, I'm Jake Dozer, certified financial planner. At Johnson Brunetti, we've helped over 5,000 families prepare for and live in retirement. And now we're proud to be the official wealth management sponsor of the UConn Huskies. Visit us at johnsonbrunetti.com and get free financial planning books and resources. Johnson Brunetti, Retirement and Investment Specialists.
Johnson Brunetti is a marketing name for the businesses of JB Capital and JN Financial. Investment advisory services offered through JB Capital, LLC. Insurance products offered through JN Financial, LLC.
The exclusive home of the Huskies. This is the UConn Sports Network from Learfield.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never, ever become a minivan mom. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, no, it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
August was born 3 pounds, 9.8 ounces. When I first saw him, it was a whole range of emotions. There's stuff I still want to do. Being a young dad, it's not giving up. It's shifting. I look through his eyes. I can envision a whole future with him already. To throw the first football to him, give him ice cream for the first time. My life is now devoted to his life.
Through all of fatherhood's firsts, never stop being a dad. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Should the Huskies emerge victorious here tonight, we'll be back here at Madison Square Garden tomorrow night for the championship game of the Big East Tournament. We'll start our broadcast at 6 here along the UConn Sports Network, the Varsity Network app, and the VarsityNetwork.com. UConn down 57-52, and they've had Alex Caravan on the bench with 4 personal fouls the last several minutes. They did rip off 10 straight points with Alex on the bench, and now they trail by 5.
10-2. Make that 12-2 since Caravan went out with his 4th foul. Liam McNeely had that 38-point game at Creighton. He's 5 for 17, 0 for 5 from 3, missed a 3 a moment ago. But he does have 11, one of 3 Huskies with 11 points. Diarra got all 11 of his early in the game, including 3 threes. And Solo Ball has 11 points. He's 2 for 3, as the Huskies were down 17. They've made a habit of this year. 4 times they've been down 14 and come back to win. They've not been down 17 and come back to win, but they're right now on a 14-2 run to cut it to 5.
All right, McNeely to our left to inbound the ball, and he gets it into Reed up in the high post outside the arc, and he hands over to Diarra. Diarra into the paint, nowhere to go, back to Ball. Ball drives inside, and Kalkbrenner blocks him. Reed got the rebound, and he put it in. Oh, that was a break for UConn as Kalkbrenner's block shot ended up in Reed's hands. 57-54. Creighton. Neal fires right to Green, and he goes alley-oop to Kalkbrenner, and he laid it in. What a play by Ryan Kalkbrenner. Wow. An alley-oop from cross court, and they're back to 5. He was being guarded by Ball. That's pretty much why that happened. There's Diarra. Front court left on the right wing with a left-hand dribble and a foul away from the ball. It's going to be on Creighton. It's just their, well, let's see. It's their 4th team foul.
And they got Jemiah Neal, who had that incredible start to this game, and He's been very quiet since that time. UConn made some defensive switches. He really beat Liam McNeely repeatedly in the first 5 minutes.
All right, DR is going to inbound the ball to our left. Next to his own bench. Looks to get it in. And he gets it into Reed. Reed works on Kalkbrenner, goes to the left hand and banked it in. Terrace Reed Jr., T-Rex, doing some work. UConn down 3, 59-56. 6:20 to go. Ashworth on the left wing to our right. Guarded by Diarra. Starts back to his right. In some trouble. Fires in the far corner to Neal. Down low to Kalkbrenner. He's got Reed on his hip. Trying to drive him with the left shoulder. Spins one way. Spins the other way. And a block shot. And out of bounds it goes. And UConn is saying it's their ball, but I don't think so. I think Reed just blocked it out of bounds with 8 seconds on the shot clock.
Huskies' fourth block. They lead the nation in blocks. Second block by Reed. One-on-one. No-help defense on Kalkbrenner on the left side of the lane.
They're not going to review this. And it's going to be Green to inbound the ball. And he gets it into Ashworth. He's guarded by Diarra. They pump it down low to Green. He's working on ball. Nowhere to go. Fadeaway shot short. Rebound Reed. Bodies flying everywhere. Outlet Diarra. Front court left. Hassan starts to his right behind the screen of Reed. Into the paint. Can't get the shot off. He gives to Stewart. Back out front to McNeely it comes. 16 to shoot. McNeely starts to his left. Off the high screen of Reed. Over Kalkbrenner. In and out. Ball batted around, and they say it's off UConn. I don't know. I don't know about that one. The Huskies within 3. Could have got within 1. That one was halfway down the cylinder. No, it was off Creighton. You got to review that.
Crowd just saw the same replay you did.
You got to review that. And they're not doing it. No, that's not good.
Bad call.
Yeah, it was Kalkbrenner had his foot. He had his hand on it. Here's Ashworth. Front court right, thought about shooting. Fires outside of Neal. He will try it, and Neal hits it. So Creighton escapes on a no call, and they get the 3, and they're back up by 6.
He was so good at the start of the game. That's his first field goal in 19 minutes. 4:11.
The crowd is restless in here right now.
4:11 left in the first half is when he got his last field goal, but a huge 3 as Creighton started the second half 4 for 16 from the floor after they had that 75% shooting first half. They're now 6 of 20 in the second half, down to 55% for the game. But a big 3 by Neal. They're 6 of 13 from 3.
62-56, 30-second timeout. We got 5:16 to go. In the second half, just like yesterday's game with Villanova, UConn defense has tightened up. 6 of 20 shooting by Creighton in the second half, and overall 54.5%. But after shooting 75%, they lead by 6. That's 75% in the first half. The lead is 6 with 5:16 to go.
These teams meeting in the Big East Tournament Semifinals for the 5th year in a row. UConn has outscored Creighton 21-16 in the second half, but they did fall behind by 17 early in the second half before that 12-0 run made things interesting.
Well, the Huskies are the defending champs, and both teams have the identical record, 23-9. Creighton won 15 games in the conference, 15-5. UConn 14-6. Huskies have won 5 in a row coming in here. Creighton won 5 of their last 6. UConn comes out of the timeout with Caravan, Diarra, McNeely, Reed, and Ball. And for Creighton, it's Kalkbrenner, Neal. They go with Isaac Trout, the sophomore forward from Grand Isle, Nebraska. They inbound a Ball. They get it to McNeely out front. Now it's Diarra on the right sideline. Diarra left open. They're not guarding him out there. They hand it over to Ball. Ball into the paint. Floater. Good by Solo. That was a tough shot on the run from 12 feet away, left of the lane. Ball's got 13, 62-58. Creighton. This is Ashworth. Fires to Neal on the right sideline. Guarded by Ball. Neal, right-hand dribble. Kicks it back out of Trout. He thought about shooting, but Caravan back on the floor with 4 fouls. Got there to guard him. Here's Ashworth. He can't get a shot off. And Diarra nearly stole it. Now they're down to 6. They're down to 5. They get it to Neal in the near corner for 3. Airballed it. Rebound Diarra, and he got fouled. Yes, he did. Oh, it's a shot clock violation. Wow, Diarra got leveled down there, but the shot clock had expired, and UConn has the ball with 4:29 to go, trailing by 4.
Amazingly few turnovers in this game. Each team now has 5, and that's the second shot clock violation for Creighton. UConn has had 3.
Now, they're going to review this to see if the clock expired, because I believe there was a foul in it. That's important because that would be Creighton's 5th, so they're still 1 away from bonus time, 2 away. They got to review that to check it out, and the two teams are huddled up, and with 4:29 to go, I don't know if they're going to use the under 4-minute timeout or not. I think they are. 4:29 to go. The under 4-minute timeout has been called, and we will take it in just a moment. Comprehensive coverage of college basketball is on SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84 in the car, on the new SiriusXM app. SiriusXM, the home of your favorite team and conference, including live games, plus interviews and analysis. So cheer along with the SiriusXM app and listen to your favorite team anywhere. Get a free trial at SiriusXM.com/College Sports Radio 2025. You're listening to UConn Men's Basketball in Learfield, presented by Brown Paint Darris and Scott. UConn down 4.
The passion, the tradition, the rivalries. SiriusXM is your destination for all things college sports. And we've got you covered on SiriusXM College Sports Radio. There's complete coverage of every major conference, plus live games and 24/7 talk and analysis. So cheer along on the SiriusXM app and listen to your favorite team anywhere. And now you can get 3 months of SiriusXM free. Subscribe now and see offer details at SiriusXM.com/College Sports Radio 25.
Power Station Events is the official production partner of the UConn Huskies, the ultimate one-stop source featuring audio, video, lighting, staging, talented DJs and musicians, photography and videography, stunning decor and florals, and much more. As we celebrate our 40th anniversary, we want to thank UConn Nation as we look forward to the next 40 years. Visit us at PowerStationEvents.com and let us help you plan your next awesome event.
UConn fans, when it comes to sports injuries, do you know where the Huskies go?
UConn Health, Connecticut's public academic medical center. Our doctors advance research and train future generations of healthcare experts.
All while offering the latest in injury prevention, treatment, and performance improvement. For athletes, for everyone.
When it comes to UConn athletics, our physicians are their physicians and should be your physicians too.
Make their doctors your doctors.
UConn Health. Learn more at health.uconn.edu.
Play coverage of UConn men's basketball is presented all season long by Key Bank, the exclusive retail bank of UConn men's basketball.
After the game, it's the Hart Auto Group post-game show. Highlights, interviews, stats, scores. Courtesy of Hart Auto Group. Shop Hart Auto Group. We treat you like family and only a heartbeat away. HartCars.com. UConn has led in this game 25 seconds. Meanwhile, Creighton has led for 32 minutes and 53 seconds. So UConn has been climbing uphill all night long. They're within 4, 62-58 with 4:29 to go.
And after that missed Neal 3 from the right corner, he just made a 3 earlier, but the weak side rebound came down. There was a scrum for the ball, and the shot clock went off, but not before there was a foul on Trout of Creighton. So they'd initially scored it that it would be an offensive rebound for Creighton and they'd get the ball back, but now it's a foul on Trout, and I think UConn's getting the ball back here.
They should be getting the ball back.
One guy that was a key run, especially late in the first half, has been Jason Green. He's got 17 points, a career high. His career high was 14. He scored the first 2 points of the second half on free throws, hasn't scored since. Here's one of the keys to UConn's comeback.
All right, Caravan playing with 4 fouls, inbounds to McNeely. McNeely right to left. Guarded by Neal, gives to Caravan on the right wing. Caravan fires right to Diarra, foul line extended. He's guarded by McAndrew, the freshman. Now they give it a ball on the left wing. He's guarded by Ashworth. Fires to McNeely. And now it's Terrace Reed, high post right. Faces up. Now they're under 10. Got to go to Ball. Ball fires a 3. No good, missed everything. Rebound Neal. And here comes Jemiah Neal, picked up by McNeely in the front court on the right wing. Crossover, he attacks McNeely. He's tangled up. He gives back to Kalkbrenner for three. No good. And a rebound, McNeely. Hassan Diarra kept that alive. As Terrace Reed is limping up the court. Let's see what's up with him. He hands over to Diarra, top of the arc. Diarra into the paint. Over Kalkbrenner. In and out. A rebound, Kalkbrenner, and a foul on Reed. Oh, that one was halfway in by Diarra. And so the Reed foul is the 7th by UConn, and that means Kalkbrenner shooting 1-1.
Third foul on Terrace Reed, who's gotten the bulk of the time here in the second half. Samson Johnson's played 23 minutes. He's got one foul.
And Samson Johnson's at the scorer's table, but I wonder if Reed is hurt here because he's walking gingerly back towards the free throw line to our right where Kalkbrenner's going to get free throws. Yeah, he is limping off, and I'm sure James Doran's going to take a look and see what's up. Kalkbrenner on the line.
He just got a bottle of water and went back to his seat.
1-1, and he makes it.
He got the bottle of water from the trainer, James Doran. I think he just said, "Are you all right?" And he said, "Yeah, give me the water." And he just went and sat down. He's not being looked at.
All right, Creighton by 5, 63-58. Kalkbrenner's second one's up and good. So the lead back to 6, 64-58. UConn could have cut the lead to 2 a moment ago, and now they're down 6. Here's Ball on the left wing. Trying to get a screen from McNeely. McNeely picks it up on the left sideline, starts back to his right. Picked up by Neal, fires left to Caravan. Step back by Caravan for 3, no good. And a rebound by Creighton. McAndrew able to get it. Huskies from 3, 8 of 19. 3 minutes to go now. Critical. UConn needs a stop. Ashworth guarded by Diarra on the right wing. He gives to Neal. Neal holds the ball over his head, dumps it down low to Green. He's got Caravan in front of him. He knows Caravan's got 4 fouls. He takes him into the paint, puts up a tough shot, and lays it in. Caravan was going to foul out if he fouled him. And now the Huskies are down 8, 66-58. 2.5 to go. This is Ball. And a foul away from the ball on Neal. And that is the 16th foul on Creighton, so they're not shooting yet. Neal got tangled up with McNeely and committed a foul.
During the big first half, 15 points. He scored the first 2 points of the second half. That's his first point since. They come at a big time as Creighton has now run off 4 in a row after UConn was within 4. Missed 2 threes and a 5-footer.
Well, Reed's back in the game. He fires it right to Hassan Diarra. Here's Ball for 3. Front rim no good. Batted around, and Ashworth comes up with it. So Creighton up by 8 with 2:20 to go here at the Garden. And a place in the championship game on the line. Neal's going to run time off the clock. The clock is Creighton's friend. He's guarded by McNeely. Left-handedly starts to his right. Now he backs away on the side of the arc. He throws up an air ball. McAndrew rebounds it, and it ends up in McNeely's hands. He tried to save it. McNeely front court left quickly. Huskies got a score. Here's McNeely. Dribble penetration on Kalkbrenner. Banks it up and in.
A lot of contact, no call.
Yeah, and a timeout call by UConn. 66-60. Minute 48 to go. It's possession by possession. There certainly was contact by Kalkbrenner. But I think it was initiated by Liam McNeely, and that's why it didn't get whistled. So a timeout, a 30-second timeout. UConn down 66-60.
Huskies were down 3 a couple of times, 57-54, 59-56. McNeely had a 2-pointer that missed, would have cut it to 1, and then it was a 4-point game. Ball, Caravan, and Ball all missed 3-pointers. Huskies also missed a Diarra 5-footer. They had chances in this, but they just can't quite get over the hump. There's a basketball cliche we've all heard that when a team is way behind, UConn down 17 in the second half, they expend so much energy in the comeback, they just can't sustain that from this point on. That's what UConn did. They were down 17 at 55-38, and they came back quickly with that 12-0 run. They were down 57-54. And that's as close as they've gotten here in the second half. They did have a brief lead in the first half, but the second half is recovering from that brutal defensive first half. 75% shooting by Creighton at halftime.
UConn only 2 of 11 from 3 in the second half, but Creighton only 2 of 10. So neither team has been able to shoot it from distance in the second half.
As good as Neal has been, he's also missed a couple of threes by shooting air balls. His damage was done early in the game, but he's got 16. And Jason Green, the career-high 19, leading Creighton.
All right, full-court pressure by UConn, and running the baseline is Green. He gets it into Neal. They double him in the corner. They get it to Ashworth. Ashworth across the timeline, front court right, picked up by Diarra. So a minute 40 left. Ashworth with 18 on the shot clock. He's going to run time off, guarded by Diarra. Gives it up to Neal. McNeely in front of him. Neal drives with his right leg and backs away. He's outside the arc. Now he's down to 8. They give it to McAndrew. Back outside to Neal. Neal has to give it to Ashworth. He can't get it off. McAndrew does. He missed it. And a rebound Diarra. Minute 15 to go. UConn's got to go hard. They give it to McNeely on the left wing. A high screen by Reed. He starts to his right. In the paint, he attacks Kalkbrenner. Shot is blocked. And the ball on the floor. McAndrew dives. Diarra's on top of him. And what do we have here? We might have a held ball, but it's going to be possession arrow Creighton.
Huskies are 9 of 20 on layups in this game, and I'm going to give you that most of those 11 misses they've had have been plays like that, where they go at Kalkbrenner and either have to alter the shot or it gets blocked.
And so Ross will come in, a defensive substitution, but there's only a minute 1 left in the game. UConn trailing 66-60. And it'll be Jason Green to inbound the ball to our left. And UConn trying to come back from big deficit at halftime. And the ball is deflected out of bounds by the UConn double team against Neal in front of their bench, but it is still Creighton ball. They'll try it again. That's a tough spot to inbound, right in front of the bench in the corner. And Jason Green will try to do that. Green now standing right in front of Alex Caravan on the bench. They get it into Neal. It's guarded by Stewart. Hands over to Ashworth. Ashworth trying to get across the timeline, and he can't do it. He finally does. As he gets us to Kalkbrenner. Kalkbrenner has to call a timeout because he's backed up at the sideline. And 18 to shoot, 49 seconds left in the game. And UConn in dire straits, trailing 66-60. Huskies outscored 46-35 in the first half, 25-20 in the second half. Creighton just 49 seconds away from an appointment with St. John's for the championship tomorrow night. The defending champs, the Huskies, are up against the wall. They got 1 timeout remaining. The next foul by Creighton will put the Huskies in the bonus. Creighton's got a timeout and a 30-second timeout.
If those two do play tomorrow, St. John's and Creighton, those are the 1 and 2 seeds in this tournament. First and second place teams on the season. UConn finished 3rd.
Bill Murray on hand tonight. He comes to a lot of the games.
Son Luke, assistant coach for Dan Hurley.
Yeah, former Saturday Night Live actor, of course. He's got a good movie coming out I was reading about. Anyway, UConn with 49.1 left is going to take something special here because Creighton inbounds the ball in the front court along the right sideline. Terrace Reed is going to pressure the ball as Green try to get it in, and he gets it into Ashworth in the back court and across the timeline with 12 to shoot. He hasn't got it across the front court yet, and he has. UConn trying to commit a foul on Neal, and they do. With 9 seconds to shoot and 39.6 left. Caravan and Ball are going to come back in. But Creighton has free throws here. It's a 1-and-1 for Jemiah Neal. So that first half by Creighton gave them a huge lead of 11, and they extended that to 17. UConn able to rally back within 2, and never able to get the lead again. There's Neal, free throw no good, and a rebound Green. Oh boy. And now Ashworth is going to be fouled, and that's a problem. He's a 92% free throw shooter. Green has really given UConn fits. He's got 19 points, career high. He's got 4 rebounds, and that one might have been the final nail as he got the offensive rebound off a missed free throw. And Creighton, 8-3 all-time against UConn, is about to win the rubber match here tonight. As Ashworth free throw good, and that's a 3-possession game. UConn is going to have to find something miraculous in the last 35 seconds. Ashworth, and it's good. 68-60. They roll it in. Clock doesn't start until Diarra picks it up, and he does at the foul line extended. Front court left. He drives to his left. Back to Carabank. Carabank puts it on the floor. He attacks Kalkbrenner. Banks it up and in. 25.7 left. The last timeout for UConn. And the Huskies go with Jalen Stewart, Jaden Ross. Trailing 68-62. You got to figure they're going to commit another foul here. Try to put them on the line for 1-and-1. Creighton being led by Jason Green, a sophomore forward from his hometown, Omaha, playing for the hometown Creighton Bluejays. He's got 19 points, 8 of 10 from the field. Jemiah Neal went 5 of 12. He's got 16, 12 each for Ryan Kalkbrenner and Stephen Ashworth. And that's been it pretty much for the scoring for Creighton. 3 men in double figures for UConn. It's 13 by Liam McNeely, 13 by Solo Ball, 11 by Hassan Diarra. And the Huskies, trailing by 6, will have to defend the inbounds, try to steal that, get a 3. They're going to have to do it twice, and they have no timeouts remaining, so it's going to have to be done without being able to stop the clock. Some of the crowd has filed out of here. A lot of St. John's fans hung around. The Red Storm won big over Marquette in the opener tonight. And the Red Storm is going to try to win their first championship in this tournament in 25 years. Right now, they're the top 5 team in the country, the Red Storm, and most likely going to be a 2 seed when the seedings come out on Sunday. UConn comes out with Jaden Ross, Hassan Diarra, Liam McNeely, Terrace Reed Jr., and Jalen Stewart. And Jason Green will inbound to our left, right near the UConn bench. And he runs the baseline after the made basket by UConn. He gets it into Ashworth. Ashworth is cornered, double-teamed, and he calls a timeout. So 21.2 left. Creighton uses one of their 2 timeouts. 30 seconds left. A 30-second timeout, I believe. So Creighton, a great first half, scored 46 points and had an 11-point lead at the break. Both teams came in 23-9 in this one. And UConn most likely headed to a 23-10 record. And we'll find out what that puts them in the NCAA Tournament next week. And neither of these teams are ranked. UConn has only one team, the Big East has 2 teams ranked, St. John's and Marquette. After Marquette's loss tonight, I don't know if that'll remain the case. But the selection committee will have some things to think about. Certainly, the SEC will dominate the tournament. Many as 13 teams coming from that conference. And the Big Ten most likely will have as many as 10. It's likely that they'll have 23 teams from those 2 conferences in this tournament. UConn comes out with Stewart, Ross, Diarra, McNeely, and Terrace Reed Jr. It'll be Creighton to inbound the ball to our left. Don't forget the Hard Auto Group postgame show coming up in a couple of minutes. Jason Green looks to inbound the ball. He's being guarded by Stewart, and he gets it into Neal. And they double-team Neal, and they foul him with 19.5 left. So, 6-point game, 19.5 left. And they're still shooting 1-1 on this particular free throw opportunity. And Neal will go to the line. He had a great start. He scored 9 straight points for his team. He's got 16. He's the second leading scorer. The front end of the 1-on-1. Here it is from Neal. It's up, and it is no good. Oh, it is 2 free throws. Pardon me. That was the 10th team foul. Ball and Caravan come in. UConn's 5-game winning streak in jeopardy. Neal's second one is good. So a 3-possession game, that should do it. And Diarra gets it into Reed, who hands back to Hassan Diarra. Diarra quickly to the front court and looks to drive it left, gives to Caravan for 3, and Caravan no good. And the rebound, McAndrew, that's going to do it. Final seconds come up. Neal is going to go in and dunk the ball. Whoa. And the final will be 71-62. Hassan Diarra going after Neal. Didn't have to do that, but he went in anyway. And enraging the crowd. And UConn's got to pull some of their players back. They didn't like the end of that at all. As Neal went in and grandstanded a dunk with the game out of hand, the score final. And it'll be 71-62 with 1.5 left. That's going to leave some bad blood right there. You don't want that. You don't want the coaches apologizing, and you don't want the players grandstanding, but that's what they did. And the crowd restless right now. It'll be Creighton and St. John's for the Big East Championship in 2025. Jemiah Neal showboating a dunk with 2 seconds left in the game and his team up by 3 possessions. Totally uncalled for, in bad form. And then he hung on the rim. There could have been a technical foul, and Diarra went after him and I thought he was going to throw a punch. Wow. John Gaffney had to jump in there and break him up. Greg McDermott and Luke Murray are going at it on the sideline. There's going to be some ill will between these two when they meet again next year, that's for sure. They're going to review whether he hung on the rim, and I think they're going to give UConn a couple free throws. I believe they will, and they probably should. Not that that's going to change much. But the Huskies will head into the NCAA Tournament next week with a loss in this Big East semifinal. Yeah, Jemiah Neal, he definitely hung on the rim. Definitely should be a technical foul. And Diarra went after him, and it's a good thing Hassan did not throw a punch. He did wag his finger pretty good. Oh, man. Competitive sports, got to love it. And they're reviewing this, and everybody's staying in the building. You know, you don't want this. It's going to take forever. The post-game show coming up. We'll have the highlights, among other things. But it'll be St. John's and Creighton tomorrow. If I'm Greg McDermott, I am upset with Jemiah Neal in a big way. That was completely uncalled for. You don't want that. They're reviewing this. I don't know what they're going to do. To me, they got to give UConn a couple of free throws, a technical foul. And John Gaffney's coming over to the scorer's table. Tim Clockerty is, I think, to explain it. But so Creighton is going to win the rubber game of the 3 games this year. the final will be 71 something. I don't know if they're getting free throws or not. Number 23 came off the bench. That would be Jackson McAndrew. And so he's been ejected. I don't know how that impacts him in the first round of the NCAA tournament. It might. You get ejected, you might have to sit the next game out. Now, that would really be dumb. Oh, Jaden Ross of the Huskies is walking back to the locker room. And that'll end it. 71-62. Now let's see if they shake hands. I think they will. Well, at least some will. Oh, UConn falls 71-62 to Creighton after erasing all but 2 points from a 17-point deficit. And Creighton 0-4 in title games in the Big East. They've never won a Big East tournament title. And so they get a fifth chance. This is their fifth opportunity, but they got a major blockade in St. John's, who's on a major roll. And St. John's will face Creighton tomorrow night. That's going to be a battle. St. John's able to beat Marquette 79-63. Creighton able to beat UConn.